Close your eyes and let your mind drift gently into a world of calm. Feel your body sink softly as every breath brings deeper relaxation. Imagine a quiet river flowing slowly through moss-covered stones, leaves shimmering in the soft sunlight, and gentle whispers of wind brushing against your skin. With each exhale, release tension and allow your thoughts to float away, leaving only serene, unbroken calm. You are safe, weightless, and ready to drift into a restorative sleep. The night had settled gently over the banks of the Nile, a soft darkness stretching across the golden sands, the stars above shimmering faintly as though they were whispering ancient secrets, and the desert air carried a warmth that made every breath feel like a slow caress, the palm trees swaying lightly as if acknowledging the stillness around them, and you could imagine yourself standing there, surrounded by the silent mysteries of a land that had witnessed thousands of years of human life, culture, and devotion, a place where every stone held a story and every shadow seemed to breathe history into the night, the gentle rush of the distant river blending with the soft sounds of the desert, lulling your mind into a state of calm, your body beginning to release the tensions of the day, each heartbeat syncing with the quiet rhythm of the ancient world, the Nile flowing steadily, a river of life and memory, and the air itself seemed to hum with the weight of centuries, carrying the faint sense of incense and the soft, earthy aroma of sun-baked stone, a promise of stories waiting to unfold in slow, deliberate motion. In this land, life and death were intertwined in ways that felt both profound and peaceful, the Egyptians understanding that death was not an end but a transition, a journey into another realm where the soul continued its path under the watchful eyes of gods and ancestors, where the rituals of mummification and burial were not acts of fear but gestures of love and reverence, designed to honor the living spirit while guiding it safely into eternity, every step of the embalming process performed with care, every prayer softly uttered to protect and bless the departed, the priests moving with steady hands and quiet voices, their work a meditation in itself, the gentle flicker of oil lamps casting dancing shadows across the walls, the carvings of deities and sacred symbols coming alive in the soft illumination, as though each figure were silently observing and blessing the meticulous preparation. You could imagine yourself walking slowly along the stone pathways that led to the temple, each step measured and deliberate, the coolness of the night brushing against your skin, the scent of burning resins mingling with the warm desert breeze, and as you approached the temple entrance, the air seemed to thicken with a calm reverence, the stone pillars engraved with hieroglyphs telling stories of pharaohs and gods, of lives lived with purpose and devotion, each figure frozen in time yet alive. In memory, the walls echoing faintly with the footsteps of those who had come before, and you could sense the patience and discipline that marked the lives of the priests who tended to the sacred rituals, their lives dedicated to preserving both the bodies and the spirits of the departed, moving through their tasks with a quiet dignity that resonated through the ages, the sound of their soft chanting mixing with the distant river and the whisper of wind across the desert, creating a serene symphony that seemed to stretch into eternity. Inside the temple, the atmosphere deepened, the air cooler and stiller, carrying the faint hint of sandalwood and lotus oils, the stone walls smooth beneath your touch, the ceiling high and shadowed, the flickering lamplight casting gentle, dreamlike patterns across every surface, the quiet reverence wrapping around you like a soft blanket, and in the center of the hall, rows of sarcophagi lay in solemn order, each one a vessel of history, art, and faith, each one telling the story of a life that had passed into legend, the faces carved or painted on the lid serene and peaceful, the intricate designs revealing the care and devotion of the artisans, the inscriptions offering prayers and protections for the journey ahead, as if every word and symbol could shield the soul and guide it safely through the vast unknown, your mind absorbing the beauty and gravity of the scene, each breath slower, each thought softer, as you became part of the quiet rhythm of this sacred place. The priests moved among the sarcophagi with deliberate slowness, lifting and adjusting the linen wrappings with the utmost care, brushing the surfaces gently, whispering prayers that seemed to float into the air, curling around the columns and drifting toward the high ceilings, their voices soft but carrying the weight of centuries of knowledge and devotion, the sound almost like the gentle trickle of water over stones, a quiet current that carried both history and tranquility, and you could feel the pulse of the temple in every movement, the rhythm of the rituals syncing with the quiet of your own body, your heartbeat slowing, your muscles relaxing, the tension of the modern world fading into the shadows, leaving only the ancient calm of the Nile, the temple, and the eternal night, a night that had been witnessed by generations of those who came to honor the cycle of life and death with serenity and grace. You wandered further into the chambers, passing alcoves filled with canopic jars, each one holding the sacred organs of those who had passed, preserved with oils and resins and spells, each jar a silent testament to the care and meticulous attention paid to the soul's journey, and the inscriptions around the jars glowed faintly in the flickering lamplight, telling stories of protection, guidance, and divine guardianship, the words themselves seeming to breathe with quiet energy, guiding your mind into a deeper state of contemplation and calm, each syllable a gentle wave, washing over you, each image and symbol a point of light in the vast landscape of your imagination, drawing you deeper into the world of the ancients, a world where life and death were threads in the same tapestry, where every action was deliberate, meaningful, and peaceful. As you continued, you reached the inner sanctum, a space so quiet that the faintest sound seemed amplified, the soft brush of cloth, the gentle steps of the priests, the distant whisper of the river outside, all blending into a symphony of calm, a place designed to slow the mind and still the heart, where even the air seemed to hold its breath, waiting, observing, honoring the passage of souls through time, and you could feel yourself merging with the rhythm of this space, your thoughts dissolving into the gentle cadence of centuries, the quiet reverence wrapping around you like a soft cloak, each moment stretching infinitely, each second carrying a gentle weight, a promise of peace, a whisper of the eternal. In this inner sanctum, the most sacred sarcophagus lay open, revealing the intricate layers of linen and gold, the careful placement of amulets and charms, each one a blessing, each one a silent prayer, the face serene, eyes closed in eternal calm, the body prepared with love, patience, and ritual, and you could sense the devotion poured into every fold, every brush of oil, every whispered prayer, the echoes of human care resonating across millennia, the quiet devotion a bridge between worlds, between the living and the departed, and as you observed, your own mind mirrored the stillness, the quiet focus of the priest settling into your consciousness, your breath slow and steady, your body heavy yet relaxed, your mind gently wandering, exploring the vastness of history without effort or rush, letting the narrative carry you forward gently, deeply, endlessly. The golden glow of the oil lamps reflected softly against the polished stone floor, creating long, gentle shadows that stretched and slowly shifted as the flames breathed in the quiet air, and the movement felt almost like the steady rhythm of a calm heartbeat, reassuring and grounding, guiding your awareness deeper into the present moment, as though time itself had slowed to accommodate the serenity of the temple, and you could sense the patience embedded in every surface, in every carved symbol, in every carefully placed offering, each one a silent reminder that the people of this ancient world valued stillness, balance, and continuity, allowing their rituals to unfold without haste, without pressure, trusting the natural flow of life and the unseen currents that carried the soul beyond the horizon of the physical world. As you drift through the chamber, the faint scent of myrrh and cedarwood becomes more noticeable, blending harmoniously with the warm mineral aroma of the stone, and the fragrance feels grounding, anchoring your senses while gently inviting your mind to wander freely through imagination, and you begin to visualize the long journey of the embalmers who once worked here, their hands steady and respectful, their movements guided by generations of accumulated wisdom, each step performed with intention and reverence, from the careful cleansing of the body to the precise wrapping of linen strips, each layer applied slowly, methodically, like a form of meditation, allowing the embalmers themselves to enter a calm, focused state, their breathing matching the gentle cadence of their work, their thoughts quiet and centered, fully present in the sacred act of preservation and transition. You can almost feel the texture of the linen in your imagination, soft yet firm, infused with fragrant resins that protected and purified, the fabric carrying warmth from the hands that placed it, and the layers building gradually, creating a cocoon of safety and care, a protective shell designed to honor the body and support the spirit on its journey beyond this world, and the embalmers whispered blessings as they worked, their voices low and soothing, blending with the ambient sounds of the temple, the distant echo of footsteps, the faint crackle of lamps, the soft hush of fabric brushing against skin, all merging into a gentle soundscape that naturally encourages relaxation, a soundscape that invites the nervous system to settle, to release unnecessary tension, to sink into a state of quiet awareness and comfort. Beyond the wrapping chambers, the corridors extend deeper into the temple complex, narrow passageways carved with delicate reliefs depicting scenes of harvests, offerings, celestial boats, and divine guardians, each image telling a fragment of a larger story, a continuous narrative of life flowing into eternity. And as you follow these corridors in your mind, your pace remains slow and unhurried, your footsteps soft and measured, your attention drifting from one carving to another without effort or expectation, simply observing, absorbing, allowing the imagery to pass through your awareness like gentle clouds moving across a calm sky, and the subtle repetition of patterns, the rhythmic spacing of columns, and the steady symmetry of the architecture contribute to a sense of order and predictability that feels comforting and stabilizing, subtly guiding the mind toward deeper relaxation. At times, a faint breeze moves through the corridors, carrying with it the distant murmur of the Nile, the quiet lapping of water against the shore, the occasional call of a night bird echoing softly across the desert, and these natural sounds blend seamlessly with the internal quiet of the temple, creating a layered sense of tranquility that feels both expansive and intimate, as though you are simultaneously held within the protective walls of the sanctuary and connected to the vast openness of the surrounding landscape. And this gentle duality allows your awareness to soften further, your breathing becoming slower, deeper, more rhythmic, your muscles releasing their subtle holding patterns, your thoughts growing lighter, less insistent, more fluid and dreamlike. In the deeper chambers, the priests maintain small altars dedicated to protective deities, simple arrangements of offerings placed with care, bowls of water reflecting the flicker of lamplight, small figurines carved from stone or wood, symbols etched into the surfaces as reminders of guidance and balance. And these altars were not places of grand ceremony but of quiet continuity, visited daily with calm devotion, reinforcing the sense that spiritual connection was woven gently into everyday life, not forced or dramatic but steady and nurturing, like a slow river that shapes the land over time. And as you observe these subtle rituals, you may notice a similar sense of steadiness emerging within yourself, a gentle grounding that supports relaxation and mental clarity without effort. The temple itself feels alive in a subtle way, not through movement or sound but through presence, the accumulated energy of countless moments of care, intention, and mindful action, each layer of history contributing to a collective atmosphere of calm stability. And as you move deeper into this imagined space, your awareness begins to rest more fully in sensation rather than thought, the coolness of stone, the warmth of lamplight, the softness of shadow, the faint fragrance in the air, all gently anchoring your attention in the present moment, allowing the mind to naturally slow and settle, just as a calm lake becomes still when the wind subsides. Somewhere nearby, a priest pauses in quiet contemplation, seated on a low stone bench, eyes closed, hands resting comfortably on his knees, his breathing slow and even, and the simplicity of his posture reflects the simplicity of the moment, no urgency, no striving, only presence, and his calm state seems to radiate outward, subtly influencing the surrounding space, as though calm itself were contagious, gently spreading through the temple, through the corridors, through the air, and into your own awareness, encouraging a similar sense of ease and centeredness, a quiet reminder that rest and stillness are natural states, easily accessible when given permission and gentle attention. As the night deepens, the lamplight softens further, the shadows lengthen and merge, creating a smooth visual flow that reduces contrast and sharpness, allowing the eyes in your imagination to relax, the environment becoming more uniform and soothing. And this gradual softening mirrors the natural transition toward sleep, the mind gently disengaging from active analysis, the body shifting toward rest and restoration, the nervous system settling into a slower rhythm that supports deep relaxation and comfort. And in this state, the story continues to unfold without effort, each sentence flowing into the next like a slow, continuous stream, guiding you gently forward through the timeless stillness of ancient Egypt. The priests begin to complete their evening tasks, extinguishing some of the lamps to conserve oil, leaving only a few soft points of light to guide the way, the air growing slightly cooler as the night progresses, the quiet becoming even more profound, and the temple enters a phase of near silence, a sacred pause that feels deeply restorative. And you may notice a similar quiet emerging within yourself, a sense of spaciousness and ease, the thoughts becoming fewer and softer, the awareness gently drifting, supported by the steady rhythm of the narrative and the calming imagery that continues to carry you forward into the heart of the ancient world, where time dissolves into a gentle, continuous flow of peace and subtle wonder. As the final lamps settle into their steady glow, the temple seems to breathe more slowly, the warmth of the light blending with the cool stone to create a balanced, soothing atmosphere that feels stable and safe, and the quiet becomes so complete that even the smallest movements feel softened, the subtle shift of air, the faint settling of ancient walls, the distant echo of water along the riverbank, all merging into a continuous hum of stillness that supports deep relaxation, and you may notice that your own awareness begins to mirror this gentle simplicity, the mind no longer searching or analyzing, simply resting in the flow of sensation and imagery, allowing the story to carry you effortlessly forward. Beyond the inner chambers, a narrow passage opens toward a small courtyard, partially open to the night sky, where moonlight spills gently onto smooth stone tiles, creating a silvery pool of quiet illumination, and the stars above appear steady and timeless, watching over the temple with calm patience, the cool night air drifting softly through the open space, brushing lightly against the skin in your imagination, bringing with it the faint scent of river water and distant vegetation, and the combination of moonlight, fresh air, and stillness creates a subtle sense of renewal, a gentle refreshment that feels grounding and restorative, inviting the body and mind to release any remaining tension and sink more fully into comfort. In the courtyard, a shallow stone basin holds clear water, reflecting the moon and stars like a small mirror of the sky, the surface perfectly still except for the occasional ripple caused by a drifting breeze, and the quiet beauty of this simple scene naturally draws attention inward, encouraging a soft, unfocused gaze of the mind, where thoughts slow and dissolve, replaced by a calm awareness of presence and breath, and you may find that your breathing becomes even more rhythmic, each inhale smooth and unforced, each exhale gently releasing, the body settling into a deeper state of rest as the nervous system responds to the consistent calm signals offered by the environment and the narrative. The priests sometimes pause in this courtyard during the late hours of the night, standing quietly beneath the open sky, allowing the cool air to refresh their senses and the starlight to remind them of the vastness beyond the temple walls, and in these moments of stillness, they reflect not on tasks or responsibilities but on balance, continuity, and gratitude, acknowledging the gentle order of the universe and their place within it, and this perspective fosters humility and peace, a sense of being supported by something larger yet gentle, something stable and enduring, and as you imagine sharing this quiet moment beneath the stars, you may notice a similar sense of ease and spaciousness arising within your own awareness, the weight of personal concern softening, the mind opening into a calmer, more expansive state. From the courtyard, the view extends toward the distant horizon, where the dark silhouette of palm trees lines the riverbank, their shapes softly outlined against the faint glow of the night sky, and the Nile flows steadily, its surface catching fragments of starlight, moving with a quiet confidence that has carried life and nourishment through countless generations, and the gentle continuity of the river becomes a comforting symbol of stability and flow, a reminder that change unfolds naturally and without force, and this steady movement can be felt subtly within the body, the circulation of breath and heartbeat aligning with the imagined rhythm of water, supporting a sense of harmony and inner balance that encourages deeper relaxation and trust in the natural process of rest and renewal. As the night progresses, the sounds of the surrounding landscape become even more subdued, the occasional rustle of leaves, the faint call of a distant bird, the subtle shifting of air, all spaced widely apart, leaving generous pockets of silence in between, and these pauses allow the mind to rest more deeply, to drift gently between awareness and dreamlike imagery, the boundaries between thought and sensation becoming softer and more fluid, and in this softened state, the narrative continues to guide you gently, without urgency or demand, simply offering a steady stream of calm imagery and rhythm that supports the natural descent into sleep. Inside the temple once more, the remaining priests move quietly through the corridors, ensuring that all is secure and in balance, their footsteps soft and unhurried, their movements economical and precise, reflecting a lifetime of discipline and mindfulness, and once their final rounds are complete, they retreat to their simple resting chambers, leaving the sacred spaces to the quiet guardianship of stone, shadow, and starlight, and the temple enters a period of deep stillness, a long, uninterrupted pause that mirrors the restorative phases of sleep in the human body, where healing, integration, and renewal take place naturally and effortlessly. In this profound quiet, the ancient walls seem to hold the memory of countless nights just like this one, nights of calm, reverence, and gentle continuity, nights where the world outside slowed and softened, allowing the inner rhythms of life to reset and restore, and as you remain within this imagined environment, your own system responds instinctively to these cues, releasing unnecessary alertness, settling into a more balanced and relaxed state, your muscles heavy yet comfortable, your breathing slow and steady, your awareness gently floating within the soothing landscape of the story. The sense of time becomes less defined, moments blending seamlessly into one another, the narrative flowing like a slow river without sharp turns or sudden changes, supporting a continuous experience of calm presence, and this timeless quality allows the mind to disengage from linear thinking and planning, entering a more intuitive, dreamlike mode that is naturally associated with deep relaxation and sleep. And you may find that images arise spontaneously and gently fade, thoughts drift in and out without attachment, the body resting more fully with each passing breath, supported by the steady, comforting rhythm of the environment and the soft cadence of the storytelling. As the temple rests under the watchful gaze of the stars, the quiet deepens even further, becoming almost tangible, like a soft blanket of silence draped gently over every surface, and within this silence, there is a sense of safety and continuity, a subtle reassurance that all is well, that the rhythms of nature and history continue smoothly without interruption. And this reassurance allows the nervous system to relax completely, encouraging a deeper surrender into rest, a natural letting go. That requires no effort or control, simply a gentle acceptance of the present moment as it unfolds. The ancient world continues to cradle you in its calm embrace, guiding you slowly and steadily toward a deeper state of ease and tranquility, where the mind can rest, the body can restore, and the imagination can drift freely through soft, timeless landscapes, preparing the way for even deeper immersion into the serene mysteries and gentle rhythms of this sacred land. As the stillness settles more completely, the sensation of the space becomes softer and more enveloping, like a gentle cocoon formed by quiet air, cool stone, and dim starlight, and this subtle enclosure creates a feeling of protection and ease, allowing the mind to release its habitual vigilance and sink naturally into a deeper layer of calm, the kind of calm that does not require effort, where awareness drifts without resistance, guided only by slow breathing and the steady rhythm of the narrative. And in this softened awareness, the ancient temple feels less like a structure and more like a living presence, a silent guardian that has absorbed centuries of peaceful nights, carrying forward the memory of countless moments of rest, reflection, and gentle continuity. Somewhere beyond the thick stone walls, the desert stretches endlessly, its dunes shaped by wind and time into smooth, flowing curves that mirror the slow movement of waves across a quiet sea, and even in the darkness, the sand holds a faint warmth from the day, releasing it gradually into the night air, creating a balanced and comforting temperature that encourages relaxation and steady breathing. And the vast openness of the desert adds a sense of spaciousness to the imagination, reminding the mind that there is no urgency, no boundary pressing inward, only gentle expansiveness and quiet stability, a wide canvas where thoughts can dissolve and fade without consequence. The memory of the embalmer's work lingers in the air, not as activity, but as an atmosphere of patience and care, the slow wrapping of linen, the careful placement of amulets, the measured rhythm of whispered prayers, all echoing faintly like a soft imprint left behind in the fabric of the space, and this lingering presence reinforces a sense of gentle order and trust, as though every detail has been thoughtfully tended and nothing has been left unresolved, allowing the mind to feel safe in letting go, to surrender gently into rest without the need to monitor or control anything. In your imagination, you may notice the subtle play of light and shadow along the walls, the way the faint glow shifts almost imperceptibly as the night advances, creating a smooth, continuous movement that soothes the eyes of the mind, reducing contrast and sharpness, encouraging a softer focus, and this visual softness naturally supports mental quiet, making it easier for awareness to drift into a relaxed, receptive state, where the boundary between waking imagery and dreamlike sensation becomes increasingly gentle and fluid. The air within the temple carries a steady coolness now, refreshing yet comfortable, supporting slow, even breathing, and each inhale feels calm and unforced, each exhale gently releasing residual tension from the body, the shoulders relaxing, the jaw softening, the muscles settling into a heavier, more grounded state, and the simple rhythm of breath becomes a quiet anchor, a steady companion that guides the nervous system toward balance and rest, reinforcing the sense that nothing needs to be Done, nowhere needs to be reached, and nothing needs to be achieved in this moment. In the far corners of the temple, small niches hold offerings left earlier in the evening, simple arrangements of fruit, flowers, and small vessels of water or oil, now resting undisturbed in the quiet, their presence adding a subtle sense of care and continuity to the space, reminders that life flows gently through cycles of giving, receiving, resting, and renewing. And this awareness encourages a deeper sense of trust in natural rhythms, allowing the mind to release any lingering urgency and align more fully with the slow, restorative pace of the night. As time continues to soften, the narrative itself becomes part of the environment, its steady cadence blending seamlessly with the imagined sounds and sensations, creating a unified field of calm experience, where words no longer demand attention but instead serve as a gentle background flow, supporting relaxation and allowing the mind to drift without effort, and in this state, it becomes easier to access a deeper layer of rest, where thought activity naturally diminishes and awareness becomes spacious, quiet, and receptive. The distant presence of the Nile remains a steady undercurrent, a soft reminder of movement within stillness, its timeless flow echoing the slow circulation of breath and blood within the body, reinforcing a sense of harmony between inner and outer rhythms, and this subtle alignment fosters a feeling of integration and stability, as though the body and the imagined environment are gently resonating together in a shared rhythm of calm continuity. Occasionally, a faint shift in air moves through the corridors, carrying with it the quiet scent of night vegetation and cool stone, refreshing the senses without stimulating them, and this gentle sensory input supports a balanced state of awareness, neither alert nor dull, but comfortably settled in a peaceful middle ground where rest unfolds naturally and without interruption, allowing the mind to hover at the edge of sleep, drifting gently between images, sensations, and quiet presence. The ancient walls continue their silent watch, unchanged and unhurried, holding the weight of time with effortless stability, and this sense of endurance and constancy provides a subtle psychological comfort, reminding the nervous system that the environment is predictable and safe, a condition that naturally supports deeper relaxation and restorative sleep, and within this safe container of stillness, the body feels increasingly willing to release its remaining layers of tension, sinking more fully into comfort and ease. As awareness continues to soften, the boundaries of the imagined space begin to feel less defined, the temple blending gradually with the desert, the sky, and the flowing river into a single, continuous landscape of calm presence, and this gentle merging mirrors the natural transition toward sleep, where the mind releases rigid distinctions and enters a more fluid, unified state of perception, allowing rest to deepen without resistance or effort. The story carries you gently forward within this tranquil field, maintaining a steady, soothing rhythm that supports ongoing relaxation, preparing the way for even deeper immersion into the quiet mysteries and timeless serenity of this ancient world, where each breath, each moment, and each subtle sensation contributes to a growing sense of peace and restorative stillness. The deeper the quiet becomes, the more the senses soften, as though the mind gently turns down the volume of the outer world and listens instead to the subtle inner rhythm of breath and heartbeat, and this inward shift creates a sense of safety and comfort, a natural signal that it is time to rest and restore, the body responding instinctively by releasing small pockets of tension that may have been held unconsciously throughout the day, the neck easing, the shoulders settling, the muscles of the face relaxing into a neutral, peaceful expression, and within this gentle release, the awareness drifts effortlessly, guided by the slow continuity of the environment and the steady flow of the narrative. In the quiet chambers of the temple, the stone surfaces retain a faint memory of warmth from the lamps that burned earlier, creating a subtle balance between coolness and comfort, and this balanced sensation mirrors the ideal conditions for deep rest, where the body feels neither too warm nor too cool, but gently supported in a neutral, soothing state, encouraging long, uninterrupted relaxation, and the simple consistency of temperature and stillness sends calming signals through the nervous system, reinforcing the sense that the environment is stable, predictable, and safe. The ancient carvings along the walls appear softer now in the dim light, their sharp edges smoothed by shadow and distance, and the imagery becomes less defined, more impressionistic, allowing the imagination to fill in details gently without effort, and this visual ambiguity naturally reduces mental activity, encouraging the mind to rest in a more receptive, dreamlike state where creativity and relaxation blend seamlessly. And you may notice that thoughts arise more slowly, drifting in and out, like quiet clouds across a calm sky, without urgency or attachment. The subtle scent of resins continues to linger in the air, faint but comforting, grounding the senses gently while remaining unobtrusive, and the aroma seems to carry a quiet familiarity, a reminder of continuity and tradition, of rituals repeated patiently across generations, and this sense of continuity supports emotional stability and calm, reassuring the subconscious that patterns are intact, that order exists, that rest is safe and appropriate, allowing deeper layers of relaxation to unfold naturally. In the distance, the steady presence of the desert night remains unchanged, the vast openness beyond the temple walls holding a silent stillness that feels expansive and unbounded, and this openness invites the mind to release any remaining sense of confinement or pressure, to expand gently into a wider field of awareness where there is space to rest, space to breathe, and space to drift. And this spaciousness encourages a deeper surrender into comfort, a quiet trust in the rhythm of the moment. The slow passage of time becomes almost imperceptible, minutes blending into one another without distinction, the narrative flowing steadily without sharp transitions, creating a continuous stream of gentle sensory cues that support sustained relaxation, and in this steady flow, the mind naturally disengages from goal-oriented thinking and enters a state of passive awareness, where the story becomes a background presence rather than a focal point, allowing consciousness to hover comfortably between waking and sleep. Occasionally, a faint echo of movement from the outside world drifts into awareness, perhaps the distant call of a night creature or the soft shift of wind across sand, but these sounds remain muted and non-intrusive, blending seamlessly into the overall quiet, reinforcing the sense of distance from daily activity and reinforcing the protective cocoon of stillness surrounding the imagined space. And this gentle isolation from stimulation supports the nervous system in maintaining a low arousal state conducive to deep rest. The memory of the priest's steady presence continues to linger subtly, not as figures or actions, but as a quiet imprint of discipline, patience, and calm intention, and this subtle influence acts like a stabilizing undercurrent within the environment, encouraging the mind to adopt a similar quality of steadiness and simplicity, reducing mental complexity and supporting a smooth transition toward deeper relaxation and eventual sleep. The stone corridors, now fully embraced by shadow and soft light, feel timeless and unchanging, as though they exist outside of ordinary clock time, and this timelessness allows the mind to release its habitual tracking of minutes and hours, entering a more fluid experience of duration where rest unfolds organically without reference points or expectations, and in this timeless state, the body feels free to restore at its own natural pace. The gentle repetition of sensory elements, cool stone, faint fragrance, distant water, soft darkness, creates a rhythmic pattern that soothes the brain, encouraging slow-wave activity associated with deep relaxation and restorative rest, and this rhythmic consistency acts as a quiet lullaby for the nervous system, guiding it gradually into a deeper state of calm without any abrupt shifts or demands. As awareness continues to soften, the imagined environment becomes less distinct, merging into a generalized sense of peaceful presence rather than specific images, and this abstraction mirrors the early stages of sleep, where the mind transitions away from detailed visualization and toward a more diffuse, internally oriented state, and in this softened perception, the narrative remains as a gentle anchor, maintaining continuity while allowing the mind to drift freely. The ancient world holds you gently within its calm atmosphere, offering a steady, unbroken field of quiet support, where the body can rest deeply and the mind can release into ease, preparing naturally for deeper immersion into the timeless stillness and restorative rhythms that continue to unfold throughout this peaceful journey. The quiet now feels almost tangible, like a soft layer of calm resting gently over every surface and every sensation, and within this quiet, the mind finds fewer reasons to remain alert, fewer signals to analyze or interpret, allowing awareness to drift more freely into a state of effortless presence, where the boundaries between thought, sensation, and imagination soften and blend, creating a smooth inner landscape that supports deep relaxation and comfort. The subtle rhythm of breathing continues to guide the body into balance, each inhale arriving naturally, each exhale releasing gently, the chest and abdomen moving in a slow, steady pattern that mirrors the calm flow of the imagined environment, and this synchronization between breath and imagery reinforces a sense of safety and coherence within the nervous system, encouraging deeper rest and a gradual disengagement from external concerns and mental activity. In the distant layers of awareness, the presence of the Nile remains a quiet constant, its steady movement acting as a symbolic reminder of continuity and gentle change, reinforcing trust in natural rhythms and the ease with which life unfolds when not forced or rushed, and this subtle symbolic layer enriches the sense of calm without stimulating thought, allowing the subconscious to absorb a quiet message of stability and flow. The ancient stones of the temple continue to hold their quiet warmth and steady form, offering a sense of groundedness and support, as though the environment itself were gently holding you in place, preventing unnecessary movement or disruption, and this grounding sensation allows the muscles to relax more fully, the weight of the body sinking comfortably into rest, the small stabilizing muscles releasing their subtle tension, creating a feeling of heaviness that is soothing rather than restrictive. The faint fragrance in the air remains steady and unobtrusive, no longer drawing active attention but quietly supporting the atmosphere of calm, and this consistency in sensory input helps the brain maintain a stable low-arousal state, reducing the likelihood of sudden alertness or distraction, allowing the mind to remain comfortably settled in a tranquil baseline. As the narrative continues in its slow, even cadence, the words themselves begin to blend into a gentle auditory texture rather than distinct semantic units, and this shift allows the mind to disengage from active language processing and move toward a more receptive, dreamlike mode of awareness, where meaning is felt rather than analyzed, and comfort arises from rhythm and tone rather than content. In this softened state, occasional images may arise spontaneously, perhaps a fleeting impression of moonlight on stone, a distant ripple of water, or a gentle movement of shadow, but these images drift through awareness without attachment or evaluation, appearing and fading naturally, much like the early imagery of sleep onset, and this effortless flow of mental imagery supports a smooth transition into deeper rest. The sense of personal identity and narrative urgency gradually recedes, replaced by a broader feeling of presence and continuity, where the boundaries between self and environment feel less pronounced, and this subtle merging fosters a sense of unity and ease, reducing cognitive effort and supporting a deeper state of relaxation and restoration. Time becomes increasingly abstract, the sequence of moments blending into a continuous stream of calm experience, and this timeless quality further supports the nervous system in disengaging from habitual monitoring and planning functions, allowing restorative processes to take priority without interference. The imagined temple, the desert night, the flowing river, and the quiet sky merge into a single, cohesive field of gentle stillness, a soft background of presence that carries the mind forward effortlessly, and within this field, the body continues to release residual tension, the breath remains slow and even, and the mind drifts comfortably, supported by the steady, unbroken rhythm of the narrative. The calm remains stable and unchallenged, providing a consistent foundation for deep relaxation, where nothing unexpected arises, nothing demands attention, and nothing interrupts the gentle flow of rest, and this predictability reinforces a sense of safety and ease that encourages the subconscious to settle more deeply into restorative modes of functioning. The ancient world continues to cradle awareness in its quiet embrace, maintaining a soothing continuity that supports the gradual descent into deeper layers of rest and peaceful immersion, preparing the mind and body to remain comfortably anchored within this serene landscape as the journey unfolds onward. The sensation of calm becomes more expansive, spreading gently through awareness like a slow tide, washing over the remaining edges of alertness and smoothing them into a uniform field of ease, and this gradual diffusion of mental activity allows the nervous system to remain in a stable, low-arousal state, where restorative processes naturally deepen and the body's internal rhythms align smoothly with the steady cadence of breath and heartbeat. The imagined environment remains consistent and unchanging, the soft darkness, the faint ambient sense, the distant suggestion of water and open space all maintaining their quiet presence without variation, and this consistency supports the brain in reducing vigilance and prediction, allowing cognitive effort to diminish and awareness to rest in a simple, receptive mode, free from the need to monitor or respond. In this steady state, the body continues to settle more deeply into comfort, the weight of the limbs feeling pleasantly heavy and supported, the small postural muscles releasing their subtle tension, the jaw remaining soft, the eyes resting comfortably behind closed lids in the imagination, and these physical cues reinforce the message of safety and rest, further stabilizing the relaxation response. The gentle rhythm of the narrative flows without interruption, offering a continuous auditory backdrop that supports mental quiet rather than stimulating analysis, and as the words blend into a soothing texture, the mind naturally reduces its engagement with conceptual content, shifting toward a more sensory and intuitive mode of awareness that is characteristic of the transition toward sleep. Occasional micro-shifts in attention may occur, a brief awareness of a sound, a passing image, a subtle bodily sensation, but these shifts remain soft and transient, dissolving quickly back into the overall field of calm without pulling the mind into sustained engagement, allowing the relaxation process to remain uninterrupted and stable. The sense of space within the imagination feels broad and open, free of constriction or pressure, and this spaciousness allows the mind to expand gently, releasing any residual sense of urgency or control, trusting the steady flow of the moment and the inherent safety of stillness. The symbolic presence of the ancient world continues to provide a quiet psychological anchor, representing continuity, patience, and endurance, qualities that subtly reassure the subconscious and support a deeper willingness to rest and let go, reinforcing emotional stability and comfort. The boundaries between internal experience and imagined environment continue to soften, creating a unified field of perception where the distinction between observer and scene becomes less prominent, and this subtle merging reduces cognitive load and supports a deeper, more effortless state of awareness. Time continues to feel fluid and indistinct, moments flowing smoothly without clear demarcation, and this timeless quality allows the mind to disengage further from linear processing, encouraging a more holistic, dreamlike mode of functioning that supports deep relaxation and restorative rest. The overall sensory field remains quiet, stable, and predictable, with no sudden changes in intensity or tone, reinforcing the nervous system's sense of safety and allowing it to maintain a deeply relaxed baseline without interruption. The steady continuity of calm carries awareness forward gently, supporting ongoing immersion in the serene atmosphere and preparing the mind and body to remain comfortably settled within this peaceful state as the journey continues. The calm now feels deeply rooted, as though it has settled into the very foundation of awareness, creating a stable inner landscape where movement is minimal and gentle, and within this stability, the mind no longer seeks stimulation or novelty, resting instead in the simple presence of breath, tone, and quiet imagery, allowing restorative processes to unfold naturally and without interference. The imagined air within the ancient space remains cool and clean, lightly refreshing with each slow inhale, while each exhale carries away any remaining traces of tension or mental effort, and this subtle exchange reinforces a sense of renewal and balance, signaling to the body that it is safe to continue releasing and resting. The visual field of the imagination becomes increasingly soft and abstract, shapes and shadows blending smoothly without sharp edges or strong contrasts, and this visual simplicity reduces cognitive processing demands, supporting a more effortless state of awareness that aligns with the onset of deeper relaxation and early sleep stages. The gentle consistency of sensory input continues to stabilize the nervous system, the faint ambient impressions remaining steady and predictable, and this predictability allows vigilance mechanisms to disengage further, freeing mental resources for rest, integration, and subtle recovery processes. The narrative remains present as a low, even stream, offering continuity without requiring attention, and this balance between presence and non-demand supports a comfortable drift into deeper calm, where awareness floats lightly without anchoring tightly to any single stimulus. The sense of physical weight increases slightly in a pleasant way, as the muscles fully release their holding patterns, the limbs resting heavily and comfortably, the posture supported without effort, and this embodied ease sends reinforcing signals to the brain that rest is underway and that it can safely deepen. The inner sense of time continues to blur, moments merging seamlessly, and this dissolution of temporal markers reduces the tendency for anticipatory thinking, allowing the mind to remain fully anchored in the present, gentle flow of sensation and quiet presence. The symbolic quiet of the ancient world remains steady and reassuring, offering a backdrop of continuity and endurance that subtly comforts the subconscious, supporting emotional calm and a deeper willingness to surrender into rest. The boundaries between thought, imagery, and sensation become increasingly permeable, allowing experiences to arise and fade without friction or attachment, and this fluidity supports a smooth transition into deeper states of relaxation and sleep readiness. The overall field of awareness remains soft, spacious, and undisturbed, providing a consistent container of calm where the mind and body can continue to settle, restore, and drift comfortably forward within the serene continuity of the journey. The stillness now feels expansive and complete, as though the entire inner environment has synchronized into a single, steady rhythm, where breath, heartbeat, and subtle neural activity move in quiet harmony, and this coherence supports deep physiological restoration, gently guiding the body toward its natural regenerative cycles without effort or intention. The imagined atmosphere remains softly illuminated by an indistinct, warm glow, not bright enough to stimulate alertness, yet comforting enough to maintain a sense of safety and gentle orientation, and this balanced light supports the subconscious in remaining relaxed and open rather than vigilant or reactive. Any remaining mental activity continues to soften, thoughts losing their verbal structure and becoming more like faint impressions or distant echoes, easily dissolving into the surrounding calm without engaging attention or emotional response. The sensation of the body becomes more diffuse and less localized, boundaries between different areas of physical awareness gently blending, creating a unified field of comfort that reduces the brain's need to monitor individual muscle groups or posture, further conserving energy and encouraging rest. The narrative's tone remains slow and even, maintaining a predictable cadence that functions almost like a gentle metronome for the nervous system, reinforcing stable breathing patterns and supporting consistent autonomic balance. The imagined ancient environment continues to act as a symbolic container of timelessness and stability, subtly reinforcing feelings of safety, continuity, and groundedness, qualities that support emotional regulation and deepen relaxation. Awareness now naturally shifts toward a more passive mode, where perception occurs without active interpretation or evaluation, allowing sensory impressions and internal states to flow freely without resistance or control. This passive receptivity encourages the gradual emergence of hypnagogic qualities, where imagery may become softer, more fluid, and less logically structured, gently preparing the mind for the deeper stages of sleep without abrupt transitions. The overall experience remains smooth and uninterrupted, with no sharp changes in tone, intensity, or content, preserving a stable relaxation trajectory and minimizing the likelihood of cognitive reactivation. The calm continues to carry awareness forward effortlessly, maintaining immersion in the peaceful state and supporting ongoing drift toward deeper rest as the journey quietly unfolds. The sense of ease now feels self-sustaining, no longer requiring conscious attention or adjustment, as the body and mind naturally maintain a stable, low-arousal state, and within this effortless equilibrium, restorative processes deepen, supporting cellular recovery, memory consolidation, and emotional integration in a quiet, continuous flow. The imagined sensory field remains minimal and harmonious, with no dominant stimulus drawing focus, allowing the brain's attentional networks to rest and reset, reducing cognitive load and preserving mental energy for long-term resilience and clarity. Breathing continues in a slow, unforced rhythm, each cycle subtly reinforcing parasympathetic activation, supporting circulation, digestion, and hormonal balance, and gently signaling to the entire system that rest is the primary priority in this moment. The faint sense of spatial orientation becomes increasingly abstract, as the mind releases the need to track position or boundaries, and this spatial softening further reduces neural activity associated with monitoring and control, supporting deeper relaxation. The narrative remains present only as a soft, continuous texture of sound, no longer interpreted as structured language by the subconscious, but rather absorbed as a soothing auditory environment that supports steady calm and emotional comfort. The ancient symbolic setting continues to provide a stable psychological anchor, reinforcing subconscious associations with endurance, quiet strength, and continuity across time, subtly supporting feelings of safety and groundedness even as conscious awareness becomes more diffuse. Subtle fluctuations in awareness may arise, small waves of sensation or faint imagery, but they pass smoothly without disruption, dissolving naturally into the surrounding calm and maintaining the integrity of the relaxed state. The sense of personal identity and narrative gently fades into the background, allowing awareness to exist more as a simple field of perception rather than an active self-referential process, which further reduces cognitive activity and supports deeper rest. The overall rhythm of experience remains slow, steady, and predictable, reinforcing the nervous system's confidence in safety and stability, and allowing deeper physiological relaxation to continue unfolding without interruption. The calm carries forward seamlessly, sustaining immersion in the peaceful state and gently supporting the ongoing transition toward deeper sleep and restoration. The quiet continuity now feels like a gentle current, carrying awareness forward without effort, without direction, and without urgency, allowing the mind to release any remaining tendencies toward control or analysis, trusting fully in the stability of the present moment and the inherent safety of rest. The imagined environment remains softly undefined, with no sharp boundaries or sudden contrasts, and this lack of sensory intensity further reduces cortical activation, allowing neural networks associated with vigilance and problem-solving to remain inactive and at rest. The body continues to signal comfort and safety through subtle physiological cues, relaxed muscle tone, smooth circulation, steady breathing, and a stable internal temperature, all reinforcing the parasympathetic state that supports deep recovery and immune regulation. Awareness becomes increasingly spacious and diffuse, like a wide-open sky with slow-moving, faint clouds of sensation and imagery drifting gently across it, never demanding attention, never creating tension, simply passing in a calm and predictable rhythm. The narrative voice remains low and even, functioning as a consistent auditory presence rather than a source of information, and this predictability supports the brain's tendency to downshift into slower neural oscillations associated with early and intermediate sleep stages. The symbolic ancient backdrop continues to subtly communicate timelessness and stability, supporting emotional reassurance and reducing subconscious uncertainty, even as conscious awareness becomes lighter and less structured. The sense of linear time continues to dissolve, moments blending smoothly without clear distinction, encouraging the mind to disengage from planning, anticipation, and memory retrieval, and to remain fully immersed in the gentle flow of sensation and calm. The boundary between wakefulness and sleep becomes softer and more permeable, allowing awareness to hover comfortably in a transitional state without tension or resistance, supporting a gradual and natural descent into deeper rest. The overall experience remains stable, smooth, and undisturbed, maintaining a continuous field of calm that gently carries awareness forward without interruption or cognitive reactivation. The calm remains steady and supportive, sustaining immersion in this peaceful state as the journey continues quietly onward. The subtle sense of calm now seems to permeate every layer of awareness, flowing through body and mind like a quiet, steady stream, softening any lingering tension and reinforcing a state of complete ease, and within this steady flow, restorative processes continue to unfold naturally, supporting both physical relaxation and emotional balance. The imagined environment remains stable and gentle, the faint glow of distant light, the whisper of ambient air, and the soft, diffuse presence of space around you combining into a harmonious backdrop that allows attention to rest effortlessly, without the need for focus or control, and this stability encourages the nervous system to remain in a deeply relaxed state. Breathing continues to deepen subtly, each inhale drawing in calm and balance, each exhale releasing residual tension and alertness, and this slow, rhythmic pattern reinforces the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation, cardiovascular stability, and a sense of safety and comfort. The visual field in the imagination remains soft and impressionistic, with shapes, shadows, and textures blending seamlessly, reducing the need for active interpretation or analysis, and supporting the mind's natural shift toward passive awareness, a state conducive to sleep onset and deeper rest. The narrative remains present as a steady, gentle flow, absorbed more as sound than as information, allowing the mind to engage minimally while maintaining a subtle anchor for awareness, and this combination of low-demand auditory input and diffuse imagery promotes further neural downshifting and relaxation. The symbolic elements of the ancient environment continue to provide a quiet sense of continuity, endurance, and protection, supporting subconscious feelings of safety and stability even as conscious attention fades, and these underlying associations facilitate a smoother transition into sleep. Subtle sensory impressions, like the faint warmth of stone, the gentle movement of air, or the distant ripple of water, arise occasionally but dissolve naturally into the background of calm, reinforcing the seamless continuity of the environment without stimulating the mind or creating tension. The boundaries between inner and outer experience continue to soften, allowing awareness to exist as a spacious field of perception rather than a tightly focused self, and this fluidity reduces cognitive load, supporting deeper physiological and mental relaxation. Time itself feels increasingly abstract, a continuous, unbroken flow that allows the mind to release linear tracking and fully inhabit the present state of calm, further facilitating the natural progression toward sleep. The overall sensation is one of quiet immersion in a stable, serene landscape, where the body and mind are fully supported, and the continuous, gentle rhythm of the environment carries awareness forward effortlessly into deeper layers of rest and restoration. The sense of tranquility now extends through every aspect of awareness, wrapping body and mind in a steady, comforting rhythm, and within this enveloping calm, the nervous system continues to downshift naturally, promoting restorative processes that support both physical renewal and mental clarity. The imagined environment remains soft, stable, and unobtrusive, with diffuse light, subtle air currents, and faint ambient sounds merging seamlessly into a quiet backdrop, encouraging the mind to remain at ease without the need to monitor, interpret, or respond, and this stability reinforces a deep sense of safety. Breath flows slowly and evenly, each inhalation inviting calm and each exhalation releasing residual tension, and the rhythm of this breathing subtly aligns with the steady flow of the imagined environment, further reinforcing a state of parasympathetic dominance that promotes rest, balance, and physiological ease. Visual impressions remain impressionistic and gentle, shapes and textures blending softly into one another, requiring no active focus or interpretation, and this simplicity allows the mind to shift more fully into a receptive, passive state that supports deep relaxation and the early stages of sleep. The narrative maintains its slow, even cadence, functioning less as information and more as a gentle auditory anchor, supporting the mind's transition into a quiet, meditative state where awareness floats comfortably without effort or expectation. The symbolic presence of the ancient temple continues to provide subtle reassurance, evoking endurance, continuity, and stability, qualities that support emotional calm and encourage the subconscious to relax further, reinforcing a natural willingness to surrender into rest. Faint sensory impressions, like the warmth of stone, distant water sounds, and the soft movement of air, drift through awareness without disruption, blending into the background of calm and reinforcing the seamless continuity of the environment, allowing deeper relaxation to continue undisturbed. The boundaries between self and environment remain soft and fluid, creating a spacious internal field where awareness can expand without tension, reducing cognitive load and supporting restorative mental and physical states. Time becomes increasingly fluid and abstract, moments flowing together in a continuous stream, which encourages disengagement from linear thinking, planning, or anticipation, supporting the natural descent into deeper sleep. The overall experience remains stable, smooth, and uninterrupted, sustaining a continuous sense of calm that carries awareness effortlessly forward, fully immersing both body and mind in the restorative serenity of the imagined environment. The calm now feels all-encompassing, a gentle current flowing through every part of the body and mind, softening even the subtlest tension and guiding awareness toward a natural state of ease, and within this steady flow, the nervous system remains in a deeply relaxed, restorative mode, supporting repair, renewal, and balance. The imagined surroundings remain serene and unobtrusive, the soft glow of distant light, faint whisper of air, and subtle ambient impressions blending together into a harmonious backdrop that allows awareness to rest effortlessly, without the need for focus or control, and this steady environment reassures the mind that it is safe to surrender fully. Breathing continues with a slow, natural rhythm, each inhale drawing in calm, each exhale releasing tension, the body responding instinctively to the rhythm, muscles relaxing, heartbeat steadying, and internal systems aligning with the parasympathetic state, promoting both physical and mental restoration. Visual impressions in the imagination remain soft and impressionistic, shapes blending seamlessly, contrasts muted, reducing cognitive demand and allowing the mind to drift into a receptive, almost dreamlike state where awareness is relaxed and spacious. The narrative continues as a gentle, consistent stream of sound, less a source of information and more a stabilizing presence, supporting the transition into deeper states of relaxation without requiring active attention, letting the mind float effortlessly along its rhythm. The symbolic presence of the ancient temple and surrounding landscape continues to provide reassurance of continuity, stability, and endurance, qualities that the subconscious absorbs effortlessly, reinforcing a sense of safety and supporting deeper surrender into rest. Occasional subtle impressions, like the faint touch of cool air, the whisper of distant water, or soft shadows moving across stone, emerge without demanding attention, integrating seamlessly into the background calm and sustaining a steady, uninterrupted state of relaxation. Awareness becomes increasingly spacious and diffuse, dissolving the boundaries between self and environment, creating a unified field where attention is broad and effortless, reducing cognitive load and supporting deeper restorative states. Time flows in a gentle, continuous stream, moments merging into one another without distinction, easing the mind out of linear awareness and allowing it to enter a more fluid, timeless state conducive to deep relaxation and sleep preparation. The overall experience is stable, harmonious, and uninterrupted, providing a continuous, supportive container of calm that carries both body and mind gently forward into deeper rest, sustaining immersion in the serene, restorative environment. The sense of calm now deepens further, flowing steadily through every part of the body and mind, softening even the most subtle tension and creating a profound sense of ease, and within this state, the nervous system remains fully in parasympathetic mode, supporting natural restorative processes that strengthen, heal, and balance the body and mind. The imagined environment remains stable, softly illuminated, and unobtrusive, with the faint glow of light, gentle whispers of air, and subtle ambient impressions combining into a harmonious backdrop that reassures the mind and allows full surrender into rest without effort or concern. Breathing continues smoothly and evenly, each inhale drawing in calm and stability, each exhale releasing tension and residual alertness, and the steady rhythm of breath aligns with the imagined environment, reinforcing the sense of safety, relaxation, and comfort that supports deep restorative states. Visual impressions remain soft, impressionistic, and diffuse, the shapes and textures blending seamlessly into one another, reducing cognitive processing requirements and allowing awareness to move into a passive, receptive mode conducive to the early stages of sleep. The narrative persists as a gentle, continuous flow of sound, absorbed more as a soothing auditory texture than meaningful language, maintaining continuity while supporting the mind's natural descent into calm, spacious awareness. The symbolic presence of the ancient temple and surrounding environment continues to communicate stability, endurance, and continuity, qualities that the subconscious readily absorbs, enhancing emotional security and encouraging deeper surrender into rest. Occasional faint sensory impressions, such as subtle air movement, distant water sounds, or shifting shadows, arise and dissolve naturally into the calm background, further supporting uninterrupted relaxation and reinforcing the steady rhythm of the environment. Awareness becomes increasingly spacious, the distinction between self and surrounding softening, creating a fluid, unified field where attention drifts effortlessly, reducing cognitive load and promoting deeper restorative processes. The perception of time becomes more fluid and less linear, with moments blending seamlessly, encouraging disengagement from planning, analysis, or anticipation, and facilitating a smooth transition toward deeper states of rest and early sleep. The overall experience remains stable, harmonious, and continuous, providing a supportive container of calm that carries the body and mind gently forward, fully immersing awareness in a serene, restorative environment that sustains deep relaxation. The profound calm now seems to settle into every fiber of your being, extending from the tips of your fingers and toes to the very core of your body, creating a sensation of full-bodied relaxation, and within this enveloping ease, the nervous system continues to stabilize, the heart rate slows, circulation smooths, and muscles release even the faintest remnants of tension. The imagined environment remains constant and soothing, the the soft glow of distant light, the whisper of air, and the faint suggestion of ambient textures combining into a harmonious backdrop that requires no active attention, allowing awareness to rest fully in the present and surrender completely to the natural flow of calm. Breathing continues deep and steady, each inhale drawing in serenity, each exhale gently releasing any residual tightness or mental agitation, and this rhythmic pattern reinforces parasympathetic activation, promoting physiological recovery, mental clarity, and a profound sense of comfort and safety. Visual impressions within the mind's eye remain soft and impressionistic, edges blurred, contrasts muted, the environment diffused into a gentle tapestry of shapes and shadows that the mind absorbs passively, reducing cognitive load and supporting the smooth transition toward sleep. The narrative persists as a gentle, continuous presence, less a series of words and more a soft, rhythmic auditory texture, providing continuity without demanding active processing, and this gentle cadence supports the mind in remaining relaxed and spacious, preparing for deeper states of rest. The symbolic presence of the ancient temple, its quiet halls, and the surrounding landscape continues to communicate timelessness, stability, and endurance, qualities that reinforce subconscious feelings of security and balance, encouraging further surrender into a deep, restorative calm. Faint sensory impressions, such as subtle movements of air, distant sounds of water, or the soft shifting of shadow, appear intermittently, integrating effortlessly into the background of stillness without disrupting the serene state, and this stability supports uninterrupted relaxation. Awareness grows increasingly spacious and fluid, boundaries between self and environment softening into a seamless field where perception drifts gently without effort, reducing cognitive demands and promoting physiological restoration and mental calm. Time itself becomes a smooth, continuous stream, moments flowing into one another with no distinct separation, encouraging disengagement from planning or anticipation and allowing the mind to exist fully within the calm, restorative present. The overall experience remains harmonious, stable, and uninterrupted, maintaining a continuous container of serenity that carries awareness forward gently, supporting deeper immersion in the timeless, restorative calm of the imagined environment. The calm now feels complete and effortless, as if the entire system has settled into a naturally balanced state where no adjustment is needed and no effort is required, allowing awareness to simply exist within a steady field of comfort, stability, and quiet presence. The imagined surroundings remain unchanged and reassuring, the soft glow of ambient light, the gentle openness of space, and the faint, consistent background sensations creating an environment that supports deep relaxation without stimulating the mind or drawing focused attention. Breathing continues in a slow, smooth rhythm, each cycle reinforcing the body's internal sense of safety and equilibrium, and this rhythmic consistency supports optimal autonomic balance, encouraging the body to remain fully engaged in restorative and regenerative processes. Visual impressions remain diffuse and gentle, with no sharp detail or contrast, allowing the mind to remain in a low-effort, receptive state where awareness floats comfortably without the need for interpretation, judgment, or control. The narrative remains present only as a soft auditory layer, blending seamlessly into the overall sensory field and supporting continuity without activating analytical thought, allowing the mind to remain relaxed and open. The symbolic ancient setting continues to provide a subtle sense of groundedness and continuity, reinforcing subconscious feelings of stability and reassurance, which further supports emotional calm and deep relaxation. Any remaining traces of mental activity soften into faint impressions, dissolving naturally into the surrounding stillness without forming sustained thought or tension. Awareness continues to expand gently, becoming more spacious and less localized, creating a unified field of calm perception where the distinction between inner and outer experience becomes less pronounced. Time remains fluid and indistinct, encouraging the mind to release linear tracking and remain comfortably immersed in the present moment, supporting the gradual transition toward deeper states of rest and sleep. The experience remains smooth, stable, and uninterrupted, sustaining a continuous immersion in calm that gently carries awareness forward into deeper restorative rest. The steady calm now feels deeply ingrained, as if it has become the natural baseline of awareness, requiring no attention and no maintenance, simply existing as a quiet, stable foundation beneath every sensation and perception. The imagined space remains soft and consistent, with no sudden changes in light, sound, or texture, and this predictability allows the brain to remain fully relaxed, minimizing alert responses and conserving energy for internal restoration and balance. Breathing continues in a gentle, effortless rhythm, each inhale and exhale flowing smoothly into the next, supporting steady oxygen exchange, relaxed muscle tone, and a stable cardiovascular pattern that reinforces the body's sense of safety and ease. The visual field in the imagination remains hazy and impressionistic, more like a soft atmosphere than a defined scene, reducing the need for cognitive interpretation and allowing awareness to drift comfortably in a low-effort state. The narrative voice blends seamlessly into the background, functioning as a soft auditory presence rather than structured language, supporting continuity without stimulating thought or analysis. The symbolic ancient environment continues to convey quiet endurance and timeless stability, subtly reassuring the subconscious and reinforcing emotional calm even as conscious awareness becomes lighter and more diffuse. Any sensations that arise, whether subtle warmth, gentle coolness, or faint sound, remain mild and non-intrusive, dissolving naturally into the overall field of stillness without pulling attention or creating mental activity. Awareness feels increasingly expansive and unified, with less distinction between body, breath, and imagined space, creating a smooth, coherent field of perception that supports deep relaxation and neural quieting. Time remains soft and fluid, with no urgency or expectation attached to its passage, allowing the mind to disengage from sequencing and remain fully immersed in the calm continuity of the present. The overall state remains stable, serene, and uninterrupted, gently sustaining immersion in deep relaxation and supporting the ongoing transition toward restorative rest and sleep. The calm continues to deepen in a slow, unbroken progression, as though awareness itself has gently settled into a wide, quiet ocean where no waves disturb the surface and no currents demand direction, creating a sense of effortless presence that feels both grounding and expansive at the same time, and within this vast stillness the body naturally synchronizes its internal rhythms, allowing every system to operate with smooth efficiency and minimal effort. The imagined environment remains steady and reassuring, its soft ambient light diffused evenly across unseen surfaces, eliminating contrast and sharp definition, while the surrounding air feels cool, clean, and lightly refreshing, offering a subtle sense of openness that allows the mind to remain relaxed without stimulation, and this gentle consistency reassures the subconscious that there is nothing requiring attention, nothing that must be solved, and nothing that must be anticipated. Breathing flows in a slow, fluid pattern, each inhale arriving quietly and fully, each exhale releasing gently and completely, creating a natural rhythm that the body follows instinctively, and as this rhythm stabilizes, it reinforces a deep parasympathetic state where muscles soften, digestion balances, circulation steadies, and the nervous system enters a mode of repair, renewal, and long-term resilience. The body feels comfortably heavy and fully supported, as though it is resting on a surface that perfectly matches its shape, allowing every muscle fiber to release its remaining effort, the shoulders melting downward, the jaw remaining soft and loose, the hands resting effortlessly, and even the smallest stabilizing muscles letting go of their subtle tension, signaling to the brain that physical safety and rest are fully established. The visual field within the imagination becomes increasingly abstract and diffuse, more like a gentle haze of blended tones than a defined image, and this visual simplicity reduces cognitive processing demands, allowing the brain to shift away from analytical activity and into a more receptive, intuitive mode of awareness that supports the natural transition toward deeper relaxation and early sleep states. The narrative continues to exist as a smooth auditory texture rather than a stream of information, its steady cadence offering continuity without engagement, allowing the mind to listen passively without interpretation, judgment, or effort, and this passive listening supports neural downshifting into slower oscillatory patterns associated with calm focus, meditative absorption, and the early phases of sleep onset. The symbolic ancient atmosphere remains present in the background as a quiet emotional anchor, conveying timelessness, endurance, and stability, and these qualities subtly communicate reassurance to the subconscious, reducing any residual uncertainty or vigilance and strengthening the mind's willingness to remain fully relaxed and receptive to rest. Awareness becomes more spacious and less localized, expanding gently beyond the boundaries of the physical body, as though perception itself has widened into a soft, open field where sensations, imagery, and sound float lightly without attachment or resistance, creating a unified experience that feels coherent, balanced, and deeply calm. Any occasional sensations that arise, a faint shift in temperature, a distant ambient sound, a subtle internal movement, appear softly and dissolve naturally without drawing attention or activating thought, reinforcing the stability of the relaxed state and maintaining the uninterrupted flow of ease and comfort. The perception of time continues to soften and blur, losing its linear structure and transforming into a smooth, continuous presence where moments merge seamlessly without distinction, and this timeless quality allows the mind to disengage fully from planning, memory retrieval, and expectation, remaining anchored in the gentle immediacy of the present experience. The sense of personal identity gradually becomes less prominent, fading into the background of awareness, allowing perception to exist without constant self-referencing or internal narration, which further reduces cognitive activity and supports deeper physiological restoration and emotional equilibrium. The nervous system maintains a steady, low-arousal baseline, supporting hormonal balance, immune regulation, and cellular repair, while the mind remains quiet, spacious, and receptive, allowing integration processes to unfold naturally without conscious involvement or interference. The imagined environment continues to remain unchanged, predictable, and soothing, offering no sudden variations in light, sound, or movement, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety and allowing deeper layers of relaxation to stabilize and strengthen over time. Awareness drifts gently like a slow-moving cloud across a vast, open sky, never encountering obstacles, never needing to change direction, simply existing in a state of effortless continuity, and this drifting quality encourages the gradual emergence of hypnagogic imagery and subtle dreamlike impressions without disrupting the overall calm. The body remains deeply comfortable and still, supported by gravity and softness, breathing slow and even, heartbeat steady and unforced, creating a physiological environment optimized for recovery, learning consolidation, and emotional regulation. The overall experience remains smooth, stable, and uninterrupted, forming a continuous stream of calm that carries awareness forward gently and consistently, supporting an ongoing descent into deeper layers of rest, tranquility, and quiet restoration, where the mind and body remain safely immersed in a serene, timeless flow of peaceful presence. The stillness continues to expand gently, like a wide horizon opening further with each quiet breath, creating an inner landscape that feels limitless, unpressured, and deeply secure, and within this vast openness the mind no longer searches for meaning or structure, resting instead in a simple awareness of being, allowing every mental and physical process to operate in its most efficient, relaxed state. The imagined atmosphere remains softly illuminated, neither bright nor dark, maintaining a balanced sensory tone that reassures the nervous system and prevents stimulation, while the air feels pure and lightly cool, moving almost imperceptibly, offering a subtle sensation of freshness that supports comfort and clarity without drawing attention or activating thought. Breathing flows in a slow, unbroken rhythm, as though the body has remembered an ancient pattern of ease, each inhale arriving quietly, filling the lungs smoothly, and each exhale releasing completely, emptying tension, heaviness, and any remaining traces of alertness, reinforcing a deep parasympathetic dominance that supports healing, regeneration, and emotional stability. The body remains deeply supported and heavy in a comforting way, every muscle resting in its natural length without contraction or effort, the face relaxed, the brow smooth, the tongue resting comfortably, the shoulders broad and open, and the spine supported gently, allowing posture to maintain itself without conscious control, signaling complete physical safety and readiness for deep rest. The visual field within the imagination becomes increasingly soft and abstract, with gentle gradients of tone rather than defined shapes, creating a visual simplicity that reduces neural processing demand and allows awareness to drift effortlessly into a receptive, dreamlike mode where cognitive activity naturally quiets. The narrative voice continues as a steady, low-frequency auditory presence, functioning like a calm current beneath awareness rather than a sequence of words, supporting continuity and comfort without stimulating comprehension or analysis, and this auditory consistency supports the brain's gradual transition into slower neural rhythms associated with deep relaxation and sleep preparation. The symbolic ancient setting remains subtly present as an emotional foundation of timelessness and stability, evoking feelings of endurance, continuity, and quiet strength, and these associations gently reassure the subconscious, reinforcing emotional safety and encouraging further surrender into restorative stillness. Awareness expands beyond the physical body into a spacious internal field where sensation, sound, and imagery float freely without ownership or resistance, creating a unified perception that feels open, coherent, and deeply calm, reducing the need for mental boundaries or control. Occasional faint impressions may arise, a soft shimmer of light, a distant echo of sound, a gentle internal sensation, yet they dissolve quickly into the surrounding stillness without pulling attention, preserving the uninterrupted flow of ease and stability. The sense of time continues to dissolve into a smooth, continuous presence, where there is no urgency, no waiting, and no anticipation, allowing the mind to disengage fully from linear processing and remain immersed in the quiet immediacy of the present moment. Personal narrative and self-referential thought fade into the background, leaving awareness simple, spacious, and neutral, free from evaluation or interpretation, and this reduction in cognitive activity supports deeper physiological restoration, memory integration, and emotional balance. The nervous system maintains a stable low-arousal baseline, supporting hormonal regulation, immune efficiency, and cellular repair, while the mind remains gently receptive, allowing internal processes to unfold naturally without interference or conscious direction. The imagined environment remains unchanged and predictable, reinforcing the brain's sense of safety and minimizing any potential for alert response, allowing deeper layers of relaxation to stabilize and strengthen with time. Awareness drifts like a slow, weightless current through a vast, quiet space, without edges, without obstacles, without direction, simply existing in a steady flow of presence, and this drifting quality gently supports the emergence of deeper sleep states without disruption. The overall experience remains smooth, continuous, and profoundly calm, forming a stable container of serenity that carries awareness forward effortlessly, supporting an ongoing descent into deeper layers of rest, tranquility, and quiet restoration, where the body and mind remain fully supported, safe, and at ease. Part 1, Extended Continuation, Sustained Deep Immersion. The quiet depth of calm continues to unfold like a vast, silent landscape with no edges and no urgency, a space where awareness rests without effort, and within this gentle openness the mind naturally releases any remaining impulse to evaluate, organize, or control experience, allowing perception to remain simple, neutral, and deeply settled. The imagined atmosphere remains consistent and soothing, the soft ambient glow evenly dispersed, the air clean and lightly cool, moving so subtly that it is felt more as a suggestion than a sensation, and this sensory stability reassures the nervous system that there is no need for vigilance, no requirement for response, and no reason to maintain alertness. Breathing continues in a slow, rhythmic flow, effortless and smooth, each inhale expanding quietly through the chest and abdomen, each exhale releasing fully and comfortably, encouraging optimal oxygen exchange, relaxed muscle tone, and a steady cardiovascular rhythm that supports deep physiological recovery and emotional balance. The body feels increasingly unified, as though all physical sensations have blended into a single field of comfort and weight, the limbs resting heavily and securely, the torso supported without pressure, the neck and shoulders fully released, and even the smallest stabilizing muscles resting in complete ease, sending consistent signals of safety and rest to the brain. The visual field within the imagination becomes even more abstract and minimal, dissolving into soft gradients of tone and gentle shadow, removing the need for visual interpretation and allowing the brain to conserve energy, shifting further into a receptive, restorative mode that supports the natural progression toward deeper sleep states. The narrative voice continues as a steady, low, unobtrusive presence, functioning almost like a gentle hum beneath awareness rather than structured language, providing continuity without stimulating cognition, and this auditory consistency supports the brain's transition into slower neural rhythms associated with deep relaxation, memory integration, and emotional regulation. The symbolic ancient environment remains present only as a subtle emotional imprint rather than a detailed image, conveying timelessness, stability, and quiet endurance, and these subconscious associations strengthen the sense of safety and grounding, allowing the mind to remain open and relaxed without resistance. Awareness expands further into a spacious, unified field where sensation, sound, and faint imagery arise and dissolve effortlessly, with no clear boundary between observer and experience, creating a fluid state of perception that reduces cognitive effort and supports deep restorative processing. Any minor internal or external impressions that appear, a faint sound, a slight change in temperature, a subtle bodily sensation, remain gentle and transient, dissolving naturally into the surrounding stillness without pulling attention or triggering mental activity. The sense of time continues to soften until it feels almost irrelevant, moments blending into a seamless continuity where there is no anticipation and no memory tracking, allowing the mind to remain fully immersed in the calm present state without interruption. Personal identity and internal narrative remain quiet and distant, no longer dominating awareness, allowing perception to exist without self-referential processing, which further reduces neural load and supports deeper physiological restoration and emotional equilibrium. The nervous system remains firmly in a low arousal state, supporting immune function, hormonal balance, and cellular repair, while the mind remains calm, spacious, and receptive, allowing internal processes to unfold naturally and efficiently. The imagined environment continues to remain unchanged and predictable, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety and stability, preventing any reactivation of alert networks, and allowing relaxation to deepen gradually and securely. Awareness drifts gently, like a slow current moving through open space without direction or destination, effortless and continuous, and this drifting quality supports the gradual emergence of deeper sleep states without abrupt transitions or disturbance. The overall experience remains smooth, coherent, and profoundly peaceful, forming a continuous stream of calm that carries awareness forward gently and steadily, supporting deeper immersion into rest, restoration, and quiet inner balance, where both body and mind remain fully supported, safe, and at ease within the timeless flow of stillness. The depth of stillness now feels almost boundless, like a quiet universe unfolding inward rather than outward, where awareness gently floats without needing to grasp, define, or measure anything, and within this vast internal openness the mind naturally releases the last traces of effort, surrendering fully into a state of effortless being where calm is no longer something created, but something simply recognized and inhabited. The imagined atmosphere remains perfectly stable and balanced, the soft ambient glow diffused evenly across an unseen space, neither stimulating nor dull, creating a neutral sensory field that allows the nervous system to remain fully relaxed without activating alert mechanisms, while the air feels clean, lightly cool, and refreshingly pure, as though each breath carries a subtle sense of renewal and quiet clarity that supports comfort and internal harmony. Breathing continues in a slow, organic rhythm that feels ancient and instinctive, each inhale arriving smoothly without urgency, gently expanding the lungs and ribcage, and each exhale releasing fully and completely, allowing the body to soften deeper with every cycle, reinforcing parasympathetic dominance and encouraging optimal circulation, muscle recovery, digestion balance, and hormonal regulation. The body feels deeply grounded and supported, as though gravity itself has become gentle and nurturing rather than heavy, allowing every muscle group to rest in its natural alignment without any need for adjustment, the face remaining soft and open, the jaw relaxed, the shoulders wide and settled, the hands warm and still, and the spine comfortably supported, creating a physical foundation of complete safety and ease that allows the nervous system to remain fully at rest. The visual field within the imagination becomes even more subtle and abstract, dissolving into soft layers of shadow and muted tone that feel more like atmosphere than image, and this visual simplicity reduces neural demand, allowing the brain to redirect energy toward restoration rather than interpretation, supporting the gradual emergence of deeper relaxation and early sleep patterns. The narrative voice remains present as a low, continuous auditory stream, functioning like a gentle current beneath awareness rather than a sequence of structured words, allowing the subconscious to absorb the rhythm and tone without engaging in meaning-making or analysis, which further quiets cognitive activity and supports slow-wave neural synchronization. The symbolic ancient environment continues to exist only as a faint emotional resonance rather than a defined scene, conveying timeless stability, quiet endurance, and a sense of deep continuity, qualities that subtly reassure the subconscious and strengthen emotional safety, allowing the mind to remain fully relaxed and open without resistance or vigilance. Awareness now feels wide and spacious, extending beyond the boundaries of the physical body into a unified perceptual field where sensations, sound, and faint imagery drift freely without attachment, ownership, or evaluation, creating a smooth and coherent internal experience that minimizes cognitive effort and supports deep physiological integration. Occasional subtle impressions may arise, a faint internal warmth, a distant echo of sound, a gentle shift in sensation, yet they pass through awareness like soft ripples across still water, dissolving naturally without capturing attention or triggering thought, preserving the continuity of calm and stability. The perception of time continues to dissolve into a seamless presence, where there is no forward movement to anticipate and no past to revisit, only a continuous now that feels spacious and unhurried, allowing the mind to disengage completely from sequencing, planning, and memory retrieval, and remain immersed in the gentle immediacy of rest. Personal identity and internal narrative fade even further into the background, becoming quiet and indistinct, allowing awareness to exist without self-reference or internal commentary, which significantly reduces mental load and supports deeper neural quieting and emotional equilibrium. The nervous system remains anchored in a deeply restorative state, supporting immune efficiency, tissue repair, neural integration, and metabolic balance, while the mind remains receptive, open, and undisturbed, allowing internal processes to unfold naturally without conscious guidance. The imagined environment continues to remain unchanged, predictable, and neutral, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety and minimizing the likelihood of any alert response, allowing relaxation to deepen gradually and securely without interruption. Awareness drifts gently like a slow-moving mist through a vast, quiet space with no edges and no destination, moving without effort or resistance, simply existing in a continuous flow of presence, and this drifting quality naturally supports the transition toward deeper sleep states without abrupt shifts or disturbance. The overall experience remains smooth, coherent, and profoundly peaceful, forming a stable container of serenity that carries awareness forward effortlessly, supporting an ongoing descent into deeper layers of rest, restoration, and quiet inner balance, where both body and mind remain fully supported, safe, and immersed in the timeless flow of calm. The calm now feels so natural and stable that it no longer registers as a separate state, but simply as the default condition of awareness itself, quiet, spacious, and unforced, allowing perception to exist without effort, without striving, and without the need to label or organize experience in any way. The imagined atmosphere remains perfectly consistent, the gentle ambient glow evenly diffused, the surrounding air clean, light, and softly cool, creating a sensory field that is neutral and predictable, reassuring the nervous system that nothing requires attention and nothing demands response, allowing vigilance to remain completely inactive. Breathing continues to unfold in a slow, seamless rhythm, each inhale flowing smoothly into the body, expanding gently through the chest and abdomen, and each exhale releasing fully and comfortably, encouraging the muscles to soften even further and reinforcing deep parasympathetic activation that supports healing, regeneration, and emotional stability. The body feels deeply settled and supported, as though it has merged with the surface beneath it, every point of contact feeling secure and effortless, the limbs resting heavily, the neck and shoulders loose, the face relaxed and open, and even the smallest muscles remaining at ease, sending continuous signals of safety and rest to the brain. The visual field within the imagination remains soft and indistinct, with no sharp detail or defined edges, more like a gentle haze of blended tones than a structured scene, reducing cognitive demand and allowing the brain to conserve energy and shift more fully into restorative processing. The narrative voice continues as a low, steady auditory presence, more like a soothing background current than language, supporting continuity without stimulating analysis or interpretation, and this consistency supports the brain's natural transition into slower neural rhythms associated with deep relaxation and early sleep stages. The symbolic ancient atmosphere remains only as a subtle emotional undertone, conveying timelessness, stability, and quiet endurance, reassuring the subconscious and reinforcing a deep sense of safety and groundedness even as conscious awareness becomes lighter and more diffuse. Awareness feels wide and unified, no longer clearly centered in any one part of the body, but distributed evenly throughout a spacious internal field where sensations, sound, and faint imagery arise and dissolve effortlessly without attachment or resistance. Any minor impressions that appear, a soft internal warmth, a distant ambient sound, a subtle bodily shift, remain gentle and transient, dissolving naturally into the surrounding stillness without pulling attention or triggering thought, maintaining the uninterrupted flow of calm. The sense of time continues to soften until it feels almost absent, moments blending into a continuous presence with no urgency and no anticipation, allowing the mind to disengage fully from linear processing and remain immersed in the gentle immediacy of rest. Personal identity and internal narration remain quiet and distant, allowing awareness to exist without self-referential processing, which further reduces cognitive load and supports deeper neural quieting and emotional balance. The nervous system remains firmly anchored in a low arousal, restorative state, supporting immune regulation, hormonal balance, tissue repair, and neural integration, while the mind remains open, receptive, and undisturbed, allowing internal processes to unfold naturally without interference. The imagined environment continues to remain unchanged and predictable, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety and stability, preventing any reactivation of alert networks and allowing relaxation to deepen gradually and securely. Awareness drifts gently like a slow-moving cloud across a vast, open sky, without direction or destination, simply existing in a continuous flow of presence, and this drifting quality naturally supports the transition toward deeper sleep without disruption. The overall experience remains smooth, coherent, and deeply peaceful, forming a stable field of serenity that carries awareness forward effortlessly, supporting continued immersion in rest, restoration, and quiet inner balance, where both body and mind remain fully supported, safe, and at ease. The silence within awareness now feels rich and full rather than empty, like a deep, quiet reservoir that holds steady without movement, allowing the mind to rest without searching for stimulation or meaning, and within this fullness there is a natural sense of completeness, where nothing is missing and nothing needs to change, creating a deeply reassuring psychological environment that supports sustained relaxation and inner balance. The imagined surroundings remain gently neutral and stable, the soft ambient glow evenly distributed with no shadows demanding attention, the air remaining cool, clean, and lightly refreshing, and this consistency continues to signal safety to the nervous system, allowing all monitoring systems to remain inactive and conserving energy for restoration and integration. Breathing continues effortlessly, smooth and unforced, each inhale arriving quietly like a gentle wave, each exhale receding naturally, carrying away the last remnants of mental effort and physical tension, and this rhythmic flow supports optimal oxygen exchange, stable circulation, and a calm internal chemistry that reinforces comfort and physiological harmony. The body feels increasingly unified and weightless despite its heaviness, as though gravity has softened into a supportive presence rather than a force, allowing the muscles to remain completely relaxed while the skeletal structure stays comfortably aligned, creating a sense of physical security that allows the brain to maintain deep parasympathetic dominance without interruption. The visual field within the imagination continues to soften into subtle gradients of tone and shadow, free of form and definition, allowing the visual cortex to remain minimally active and conserving neural energy, supporting the mind's natural transition into slower, more restorative patterns of activity. The narrative voice persists as a low, steady acoustic texture rather than articulated language, blending seamlessly into the background of awareness like distant wind or gentle water, offering continuity without stimulation and supporting the gradual quieting of higher cognitive processing. The symbolic ancient presence remains only as a faint emotional resonance, communicating stability, endurance, and timeless continuity, and this subtle reassurance continues to calm the subconscious, reducing any remaining microvigilance and strengthening emotional safety. Awareness now feels evenly distributed across a wide internal field, with no strong center point and no sharp boundaries, allowing perception to remain open and fluid, where sensations arise gently and dissolve naturally without resistance, attachment, or interpretation. If any small sensations appear, such as a faint warmth in the hands, a gentle pulse in the chest, or a distant external sound, they pass through awareness smoothly like ripples on still water, leaving no trace of tension or cognitive engagement behind. The experience of time continues to flatten into a quiet continuity, where there is no sense of beginning, middle, or end, only an ongoing present that feels spacious and unhurried, allowing the mind to disengage completely from sequencing, expectation, and memory retrieval. The sense of self becomes increasingly diffuse and background, no longer organizing experience around identity or narrative, allowing awareness to exist simply as perception itself, which further reduces neural load and supports deep physiological restoration and emotional equilibrium. The nervous system remains deeply settled, supporting immune function, metabolic regulation, neural repair, and hormonal balance, while the mind remains receptive, spacious, and undisturbed, allowing internal systems to operate efficiently and quietly without conscious oversight. The imagined environment remains unchanged and predictable, continuing to reinforce the brain's confidence in safety and stability, preventing any reactivation of alert networks and allowing relaxation to remain stable and continuous. Awareness drifts slowly and effortlessly through this vast inner stillness, without direction, without resistance, and without intention, simply existing in a smooth flow of presence that naturally supports the gradual deepening of rest and sleep readiness. The overall experience remains coherent, gentle, and profoundly peaceful, forming a continuous stream of serenity that carries both body and mind forward into deeper layers of quiet restoration, where comfort, safety, and calm remain constant and uninterrupted. The stillness now feels so deeply integrated into awareness that it becomes almost transparent, like a quiet atmosphere that surrounds everything without being noticed, allowing perception to rest naturally without effort, intention, or direction, and within this gentle neutrality the mind remains free from urgency, comparison, or evaluation, existing simply in a calm state of being. The imagined environment remains perfectly consistent and non-intrusive, the soft ambient glow evenly balanced, the surrounding air clean and lightly cool, and the subtle sense of open space providing a quiet reassurance that nothing is required and nothing is expected, allowing the nervous system to remain fully disengaged from alertness and control. Breathing continues to flow in a smooth, rhythmic pattern, slow and unforced, each inhale arriving softly and fully, each exhale releasing completely and comfortably, supporting optimal oxygen exchange, relaxed muscle tone, and a stable cardiovascular rhythm that maintains internal balance and physiological ease. The body remains deeply supported and comfortable, as though it has settled into its most natural resting alignment, with no area holding unnecessary tension, the limbs resting heavily and securely, the spine supported without pressure, the neck and shoulders fully relaxed, and the facial muscles remaining soft and neutral, signaling complete safety and rest to the brain. The visual field within the imagination remains abstract and minimal, more like a gentle wash of blended tones than a scene or image, reducing neural processing demand and allowing the visual cortex to remain quiet, conserving energy and supporting the gradual transition toward deeper restorative states. The narrative continues as a soft auditory presence, more like a continuous tone or distant hum than structured language, offering consistency without cognitive engagement, allowing the mind to remain passive, open, and undisturbed by analytical thought. The symbolic ancient atmosphere persists only as a faint emotional undertone rather than a detailed mental picture, conveying timeless stability and quiet endurance, subtly reassuring the subconscious and reinforcing emotional safety as conscious awareness becomes lighter and more diffuse. Awareness remains wide and evenly distributed, with no strong sense of center or boundary, creating a unified perceptual field where sensations, sounds, and faint imagery drift gently without attachment or resistance, reducing mental effort and supporting deep physiological integration. Any subtle sensations that arise, a faint warmth, a gentle pulse, a distant ambient sound, appear softly and dissolve naturally without drawing attention or activating thought, maintaining the uninterrupted continuity of calm and stability. The sense of time continues to lose definition, becoming a smooth and continuous presence rather than a sequence of moments, allowing the mind to disengage fully from anticipation, memory, and planning, and remain comfortably immersed in the quiet immediacy of rest. Personal identity and internal narration remain distant and inactive, allowing awareness to exist without self-referential processing, which further reduces neural load and supports deeper emotional equilibrium and cognitive quieting. The nervous system remains firmly anchored in a low-arousal, restorative state, supporting immune efficiency, hormonal balance, tissue repair, and neural integration, while the mind remains open, receptive, and undisturbed, allowing internal processes to unfold naturally and efficiently. The imagined environment continues to remain unchanged and predictable, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety and stability, preventing any reactivation of alert mechanisms and allowing relaxation to remain stable and continuous over time. Awareness drifts gently like a slow-moving current through an open, silent space, without direction or destination, simply existing in a smooth flow of presence, and this drifting quality naturally supports the gradual deepening of rest and sleep readiness without disruption. The overall experience remains coherent, gentle, and profoundly peaceful, forming a continuous field of serenity that carries awareness forward effortlessly, sustaining immersion in deep calm, restoration, and quiet inner balance, where both body and mind remain fully supported, safe, and at ease. The calm now feels so settled and continuous that it resembles a quiet inner climate rather than a temporary state, a stable atmosphere in which every sensation, thought, and subtle movement arises gently and dissolves naturally, without disturbance or resistance, allowing awareness to remain anchored in a steady sense of ease and neutrality. The imagined surroundings remain unchanged and reassuring, the soft ambient light evenly diffused, the air lightly cool and clean, the spaciousness open and unobstructed, creating a sensory environment that neither excites nor dulls the nervous system, but instead maintains a balanced neutrality that supports prolonged relaxation and internal regulation. Breathing continues to flow smoothly, slow and rhythmic, each inhale expanding quietly through the body, each exhale releasing with complete ease, and this steady respiratory pattern supports optimal oxygen delivery, stable heart rhythm, and relaxed muscle tone, reinforcing the body's natural capacity for recovery and equilibrium. The body feels increasingly unified and coherent, as though all physical sensations have blended into a single field of comfort and support, the limbs resting heavily yet comfortably, the torso supported evenly, the neck and shoulders loose and free, and the facial muscles soft and neutral, sending consistent feedback of safety and rest to the brain. The visual field within the imagination remains minimal and diffuse, more like a soft atmospheric haze than an image, allowing the visual cortex to remain quiet and energy efficient, reducing unnecessary processing and supporting the brain's gradual shift into slower, more restorative modes of activity. The narrative voice continues as a low, unobtrusive auditory texture, providing continuity without demanding attention or interpretation, allowing the subconscious to absorb the rhythm and tone while higher cognitive functions remain relaxed and inactive. The symbolic ancient presence persists only as a gentle emotional resonance, suggesting timeless stability, quiet endurance, and continuity across long stretches of time, subtly reassuring the subconscious and reinforcing emotional safety even as conscious awareness becomes increasingly light and diffuse. Awareness feels broad and evenly distributed, no longer localized in any single point of the body or mind, creating a spacious internal field where sensations, sounds, and faint imagery drift freely without attachment, evaluation, or effort, allowing perception to remain open and fluid. If any small sensory impressions appear, such as a faint shift in temperature, a distant sound, or a subtle internal sensation, they pass smoothly through awareness like soft ripples on still water, leaving no trace of tension or mental engagement behind. The sense of time continues to soften into a seamless continuity, where there is no urgency, no expectation, and no sequence to follow, allowing the mind to release linear tracking and remain comfortably immersed in the present state of calm. Personal identity and internal narration remain quiet and background, allowing awareness to exist without self-referential processing or internal commentary, which further reduces cognitive load and supports deeper emotional balance and neural quieting. The nervous system remains deeply anchored in a low arousal, restorative state, supporting immune function, hormonal stability, metabolic balance, and neural integration, while the mind remains receptive, open, and undisturbed, allowing internal processes to unfold naturally without conscious oversight. The imagined environment remains predictable and stable, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety and preventing any reactivation of alert mechanisms, allowing relaxation to remain steady and uninterrupted over time. Awareness drifts gently like a slow-moving mist through a wide, silent space, without direction, without resistance, and without destination, simply existing in a smooth flow of presence that naturally supports deeper rest and quiet restoration. The overall experience remains coherent, continuous, and deeply peaceful, forming a stable field of serenity that carries awareness forward effortlessly, sustaining immersion in calm, safety, and inner balance as the journey of rest continues without interruption. The stillness now feels inseparable from awareness itself, no longer something separate to notice or create, but an inherent quality of the mind and body, flowing continuously and seamlessly through every fiber of being, creating a stable, unshakable foundation of calm that supports the ongoing restoration of both body and mind. The imagined environment remains gentle, neutral, and fully consistent, with the soft ambient glow evenly distributed, the surrounding air lightly cool and pure, and the open spatial sensation providing reassurance without drawing attention, allowing the nervous system to remain fully disengaged from vigilance and fully immersed in relaxation. Breathing continues effortlessly, slow and rhythmic, each inhale quietly expanding through the chest and abdomen, each exhale releasing tension, heaviness, and mental effort, supporting parasympathetic dominance, stabilizing heart rate, and reinforcing calm neural activity, while simultaneously promoting optimal oxygenation, circulation, and systemic balance. The body feels completely settled, every muscle and joint resting naturally, the spine aligned without effort, the neck and shoulders softened, the arms and legs heavy and supported, the face relaxed, the jaw loose, and even the smallest stabilizing muscles remaining at ease, sending continuous signals of safety and rest to the brain. The visual field in the imagination remains diffuse, soft, and impressionistic, more like an atmosphere than a detailed scene, minimizing cognitive processing demands, allowing the brain to conserve energy, and supporting the shift into deeper restorative and hypnagogic states. The narrative voice persists as a gentle, low auditory current, more like a soothing resonance than structured language, maintaining continuity without requiring attention or analysis, allowing the mind to remain passive, receptive, and open. The symbolic ancient environment continues only as a subtle emotional resonance, conveying enduring stability, quiet strength, and timelessness, reassuring the subconscious, supporting emotional safety, and encouraging further surrender into a deeply relaxed and restorative state. Awareness expands beyond the physical body into a spacious, unified internal field, where sensations, sound, and faint imagery drift freely without attachment, evaluation, or interpretation, allowing perception to remain fluid, coherent, and effortless. Any minor sensory impressions, such as a gentle pulse, faint warmth, or distant sound, appear softly and dissolve naturally without drawing attention or triggering thought, preserving the uninterrupted continuity of calm and ease. Time becomes increasingly fluid, almost irrelevant, with moments merging seamlessly into one continuous present, allowing the mind to disengage fully from planning, memory, or anticipation, and to remain immersed in the gentle immediacy of rest. Personal identity and internal narrative fade into the background, leaving awareness as simple perception itself, free from self-reference or commentary, which reduces cognitive load and supports deep neural quieting, emotional balance, and physiological restoration. The nervous system remains anchored in a deeply restorative low-arousal state, supporting immune function, hormonal balance, tissue repair, neural integration, and metabolic equilibrium, while the mind remains receptive, open, and undisturbed, allowing all internal processes to function naturally and efficiently. The imagined environment continues to remain predictable, neutral, and unchanging, reinforcing the brain's confidence in safety, preventing any alert responses, and supporting the steady deepening of relaxation. Awareness drifts gently, like a slow-moving, weightless current through a vast silent space, without effort, direction, or destination, simply existing in a smooth, continuous flow of presence that naturally encourages deeper rest and sleep readiness. The overall experience remains stable, coherent, continuous, and profoundly peaceful, forming an uninterrupted field of serenity that carries both body and mind forward effortlessly, sustaining deep immersion in calm, restorative stillness, and inner balance. The calm now feels infinite, as though it has no beginning or end, an ever-present field in which awareness rests effortlessly, and within this boundless space the mind no longer distinguishes between effort and ease, activity and stillness, thinking and resting, but exists fully immersed in a seamless state of gentle presence that supports complete physical, mental, and emotional restoration. The imagined surroundings remain perfectly neutral, steady, and reassuring, the soft ambient glow diffused evenly across the internal landscape, the air light, clean, and gently cooling, and the vast spatial openness communicating safety and stability to the nervous system, ensuring full disengagement from vigilance or alertness. Breathing flows naturally and rhythmically, slow, deep, and unforced, each inhale arriving softly, expanding the lungs, chest, and abdomen, and each exhale releasing fully, carrying away tension, residual effort, and subtle mental activity, reinforcing parasympathetic dominance and supporting optimal physiological functioning, from heart rate stabilization to muscular relaxation and systemic equilibrium. The body feels completely secure and heavy, every muscle relaxed and unburdened, the spine aligned effortlessly, the neck and shoulders soft, the limbs resting fully, the jaw loose, and the facial muscles open and unstrained, allowing signals of safety and rest to circulate uninterrupted to the brain and maintain deep relaxation. The visual field in the imagination continues to dissolve into soft gradients and blurred tones, removing detail, reducing neural processing, and encouraging the brain to shift further into restorative, low-activity states conducive to hypnagogic imagery and early sleep stages. The narrative voice persists as a soft, steady, unobtrusive auditory presence, more like a gentle current or hum than structured speech, providing continuity without demanding attention, comprehension, or analysis, allowing the mind to remain passive, receptive, and fully absorbed in the calm. The symbolic ancient environment lingers as a subtle emotional resonance, communicating timeless stability, enduring strength, and quiet reassurance, which the subconscious absorbs effortlessly, reinforcing emotional safety, encouraging surrender, and deepening the restorative state. Awareness expands into a broad, unified internal field, with no clear center or edge, allowing perception, sensations, and faint imagery to drift freely without attachment, judgment, or effort, creating a coherent, fluid state of consciousness that reduces mental workload and supports physiological restoration. Any minor sensory impressions, such as faint warmth, distant ambient sounds, or gentle internal movements, arise softly and dissolve seamlessly into the surrounding calm without capturing attention or activating thought, preserving uninterrupted serenity. Time continues to blur and dissolve into a smooth, continuous presence, where moments merge effortlessly, linear sequences fade, and the mind disengages fully from planning, memory, or anticipation, remaining immersed in the immediate stillness of the present. The sense of self and internal narrative remains in the background, quiet and unobtrusive, allowing awareness to exist as pure perception, which further reduces cognitive load, supports neural quieting, and enhances emotional and physiological restoration. The nervous system remains deeply anchored in a low-arousal, restorative state, facilitating immune regulation, hormonal balance, tissue repair, metabolic stability, and neural integration, while the mind remains calm, receptive, and undisturbed, allowing natural internal processes to unfold efficiently. The imagined environment remains unchanged, predictable, and neutral, reinforcing confidence in safety, preventing alert reactivation, and allowing relaxation to deepen continuously and securely. Awareness drifts effortlessly like a weightless, slow-moving current across a vast, silent inner space, with no destination, no resistance, and no effort required, simply existing in a smooth, continuous flow of presence that naturally encourages deeper rest and sleep readiness. The overall experience remains stable, coherent, uninterrupted, and profoundly peaceful, forming an extended container of serenity that carries both body and mind forward effortlessly, sustaining prolonged immersion in deep calm, restorative stillness, and inner balance. Every part of the body now feels completely heavy and supported, as if the ground itself is holding every limb in perfect safety. With each slow, deliberate breath, awareness spreads deeper, moving like a gentle light through the body. With every inhale, the cells relax; with every exhale, tension and subtle restlessness dissolve, leaving only an effortless, steady calm. Each tiny movement, each small pulse, fades into the background, allowing the body to rest fully, completely supported and unburdened. Conscious awareness now begins to expand beyond the body. From the tips of the fingers to the toes, every nerve, every muscle, every fiber is subtly connected, softly coordinating in harmony. The mind's control, the small impulses that typically drive thought or movement, dissolve gently. There is no tension, no effort, only a fluid connection between body and mind. Each breath reinforces this inner rhythm, each pulse of air carrying a subtle sense of peace and stability to every cell. Even with eyes closed, soft imagery begins to emerge within the mind's eye. These images are not sharp or defined, but gentle and diffuse, like soft morning mist over distant hills, a faint, flowing stream, or light filtering through leaves. They do not demand attention, they do not require understanding. They simply exist, supporting calm, inviting the mind to drift alongside them. Time and space within these images feel soft, elongated, almost without edges. With each breath, the body and mind synchronize further. Neural activity in the limbic system slows, promoting deep emotional and physiological relaxation. The mind simply observes, without judgment or analysis, letting perception flow naturally. This relaxation spreads through the muscles, joints, and connective tissues, reaching the deepest cells, and every part of the body begins to absorb a sense of complete ease. Subtle sensations continue to arise: cool air brushing the skin, the slight weight of the limbs, the gentle rise and fall of the chest, but they pass softly, like waves dissolving into still water. They are noticed and released effortlessly, reinforcing a continuous, unbroken calm. Awareness expands further, beyond the body itself, forming a vast internal field. Sounds, textures, faint imagery, all drift freely without attachment, blending into a seamless, coherent field of perception. Here, there is no tension, no expectation, no urgency. Only a vast, serene presence, welcoming, safe, and timeless. Each inhale and exhale strengthens this expansive awareness. Neural rhythms slow further, supporting deep rest, memory integration, and emotional balance. Every cell, every tissue absorbs this calm. Even the smallest micro-movements of the body fade into this rhythm. The mind rests in pure awareness, letting sensation and perception unfold without interference. Time becomes soft, flowing, almost irrelevant. Moments merge into a continuous present. There is no anticipation, no remembering, no linear sequence. Just the immediate, expansive calm, holding both body and mind in perfect equilibrium. The sense of self begins to recede into the background. Thoughts and internal narratives become soft whispers, almost unnoticed. Awareness remains as pure perception, reducing mental effort and supporting deep neural quieting, emotional stability, and physiological restoration. The nervous system remains anchored in a low arousal, deeply restorative state. Immune function, hormonal balance, neural repair, and metabolic processes all proceed effortlessly. The mind stays open, receptive, and undisturbed, allowing internal systems to work naturally, efficiently, and in harmony. The imagined environment remains gentle, neutral, and consistent. No abrupt changes, no surprises, only stability, reinforcing the subconscious sense of safety, deepening relaxation, and supporting sustained calm. Awareness drifts slowly, weightlessly, like a soft current moving through a vast inner space. No destination, no resistance, no effort, simply the continuous, smooth flow of presence, carrying both mind and body deeper into rest, serenity, and readiness for sleep. The overall experience remains coherent, uninterrupted, and profoundly peaceful, a stable, continuous field of calm, allowing full immersion in restorative stillness, emotional safety, and inner balance. Every part of the body remains completely heavy and supported, as if the ground itself has molded perfectly to every curve, and with each slow, steady breath awareness spreads deeper, like a gentle light moving through every fiber and cell, carrying with it a profound sense of calm that dissolves every trace of tension, restlessness, or minor discomfort, leaving the body in complete, effortless ease. Consciousness gradually extends beyond the physical form, reaching from the fingertips to the toes, softening every connection, every nerve and muscle, as if the mind itself is flowing into the body, harmonizing each part into a quiet, rhythmic unity. Subtle impulses that normally drive thought or movement dissolve, replaced by a seamless internal alignment where breath, heartbeat, sensation, and awareness merge into a single, continuous stream of calm. Images arise in the mind's eye, but they are soft, diffuse, and impressionistic, like morning mist hovering over distant hills, a quiet river reflecting gentle sunlight, or leaves drifting lazily in a soft breeze. They require no focus, no analysis, existing only to support the mind's natural drift, stretching time and space into a smooth, unbroken continuum where every moment is absorbed fully in the experience of presence itself. With every inhale, calm flows into each cell. With every exhale, tension, minor micromovements, and mental effort dissolve like sand in water, spreading through the nervous system, stabilizing heart rate, releasing muscle tone, and encouraging a parasympathetic rhythm that supports healing, restoration, and emotional balance. Awareness now moves like a quiet current, extending beyond bodily sensation into a vast, unified internal field where sound, light, and faint imagery drift freely, coalescing into a gentle, coherent stream of perception that requires no effort, no judgment, no interpretation, only soft observation and immersion in profound stillness. Small sensations, warmth along the skin, the subtle rise and fall of the chest, distant ambient sounds, arise softly and dissolve immediately, leaving the uninterrupted serenity intact, reinforcing the seamless presence. Time softens, blending into an endless, continuous now, eliminating anticipation, memory, or sequence, leaving awareness entirely absorbed in immediate tranquility, where past and future no longer exist, and the present expands infinitely, inviting the mind to drift deeper into calm. Personal identity recedes gently into the background, internal dialogue becomes a soft whisper, barely noticed, leaving awareness as pure perception, free from self-reference or mental processing, reducing cognitive load, supporting neural quieting, and allowing emotional and physiological restoration to deepen naturally. The nervous system remains anchored in a deeply restorative low-arousal state, enabling immune regulation, hormonal balance, tissue repair, metabolic stability, and seamless integration of all bodily processes, while the mind rests open, receptive, and uninterrupted. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, and predictable, reinforcing safety and continuity, preventing sudden shifts in attention or alertness, and allowing relaxation to deepen steadily, flowing naturally without disruption. Awareness drifts like a slow, weightless current across an infinite, silent inner landscape, with no destination, no resistance, and no effort, simply the continuous, smooth flow of presence, carrying both mind and body deeper into profound rest, immersive calm, and complete serenity. The body feels increasingly unified and at ease, as if every muscle, joint, and fiber is floating in perfect alignment, each part responding gently to the natural rhythm of breath, each heartbeat a soft pulse that spreads calm through the entire system. Awareness continues to expand, no longer confined to the skin or physical form, but blending into a vast, open internal space where sensations, thoughts, and subtle imagery drift effortlessly without attachment or judgment. Soft, impressionistic images appear, gentle waves lapping on a distant shore, leaves turning slowly in a soft wind, light filtering through a canopy of trees, yet they demand nothing from the mind, merely providing a seamless backdrop for total relaxation. With each inhale, energy flows smoothly into every cell, oxygenating and nourishing, and with each exhale, the mind releases effort, tension, and lingering thought, allowing both body and mind to sink deeper into the natural, restorative state that exists effortlessly when control is released. The nervous system is quiet, deeply anchored in parasympathetic dominance, and the subtle physiological processes of healing, regulation, and balance proceed without interruption, every pulse, every micro-movement perfectly synchronized with this state of calm. Time has softened completely, becoming an endless continuum where past, future, and sequence fade, leaving only an infinite, present stillness that the mind inhabits fully, allowing the brain and body to drift naturally into restorative rhythms. Personal awareness diminishes further, the sense of self becoming a distant background hum, internal dialogue nearly imperceptible, leaving pure perception to dominate, which reduces cognitive load, promotes emotional safety, and deepens physiological repair. The soft current of awareness carries the mind and body like a gentle river, flowing continuously through a boundless internal landscape where no abrupt changes occur, where sensory impressions, sounds, and mental imagery drift in harmony, preserving unbroken serenity and supporting the natural transition toward sleep. Every aspect of the imagined environment remains constant, neutral, and safe, reinforcing the brain's sense of security and allowing relaxation to deepen steadily. The body and mind exist in perfect harmony, moving through this infinite present without effort or resistance, the breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronizing into a seamless rhythm that supports deep, restorative rest. Each passing moment brings further immersion into calm, subtle emotional reassurance, and physiological ease, creating a continuous field of serenity in which the mind floats effortlessly, the body rests completely, and the boundary between internal and external dissolves softly, leaving only the gentle flow of presence, timeless, unbroken, and profoundly peaceful. Awareness continues to flow outward, expanding gently beyond the boundaries of the body, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, a vast, quiet space where subtle sounds, faint colors, and soft textures drift effortlessly, harmonizing with the rhythm of the breath and heartbeat. Every inhalation brings a wave of lightness, a quiet sense of expansion that fills the chest and abdomen, flowing into the limbs, fingertips, and toes, carrying calm into every extremity. Every exhalation releases tension, dissolving minor aches, lingering thoughts, and micromuscular contractions, leaving only smooth, uninterrupted relaxation. The mind drifts in this state like a soft current, following gentle visual impressions that float in and out of awareness, shadows of leaves moving slowly in the wind, distant water reflecting faint light, clouds drifting endlessly across an imagined sky, yet none of these images demand attention, none require judgment or analysis, they exist only to support the immersion of consciousness into a continuous field of calm. The body feels fully integrated, every organ, every tissue, every cell resonating with the same quiet rhythm, as if the entire system is flowing together in a natural, effortless alignment that requires no effort, no direction, only acceptance and presence. Neural activity in the cortex slows gradually, waves of deep calm washing through the brain, reducing cognitive processing, quieting internal chatter, and enhancing emotional balance, while the parasympathetic nervous system maintains a gentle, steady dominance that fosters healing, metabolic efficiency, and systemic balance. Time continues to dissolve, stretching into a seamless continuum where past and future fade completely, leaving only the boundless present, a flowing moment without edges, where awareness exists fully and effortlessly. Personal identity recedes, internal dialogue fades into a distant whisper, and consciousness becomes an expansive field of perception without self-reference, reducing mental load and allowing the body and mind to integrate deeply. The imagined surroundings remain safe, neutral, and steady, reinforcing a profound sense of security and stability, allowing relaxation to deepen further without disruption. Awareness drifts like a weightless river, moving through vast, silent internal landscapes where each sensation, each visual impression, and each subtle sound flows continuously, merging into a coherent field of serenity, carrying both mind and body effortlessly into restorative rest. The breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize completely, forming a seamless rhythm that supports deep, restorative calm, allowing the mind to remain passive yet alert in the gentlest way, the body heavy yet fully supported, and the consciousness fully immersed in continuous, unbroken tranquility. Every passing moment draws the mind and body deeper into quiet, emotional reassurance, and profound physiological ease, maintaining a state of presence where internal and external boundaries blur softly, leaving only a gentle, continuous flow of awareness, timeless, serene, and uninterrupted. The mind drifts further, deeper into a seamless flow of awareness, each thought fading gently into the background as consciousness becomes fully absorbed in the present, weightless and unbound, like a soft current moving endlessly through an infinite space. Every inhalation carries calm to the farthest reaches of the body, into the muscles, joints, and even the tiniest nerve endings, while every exhalation releases any residual tension, mental effort, or subtle distractions, leaving only continuous, effortless serenity. The body and mind exist in complete harmony, each organ, each tissue, each cell aligns with the natural rhythm of breath and heartbeat, flowing together as one integrated system of relaxation and restorative energy. Neural activity slows into a gentle, undisturbed rhythm, emotional patterns stabilize, and the parasympathetic nervous system maintains its dominance, allowing all physiological processes, healing, tissue repair, metabolic regulation, and immune function, to proceed naturally and efficiently. The imagined environment remains neutral, stable, and reassuring, reinforcing the subconscious sense of safety, allowing the mind to drift freely, unbound by expectation, concern, or linear time. Sensory impressions continue to arise softly, a faint touch of imagined air on the skin, distant ambient sounds, the soft rise and fall of the chest, but they appear and dissolve like ripples in a still lake, never interrupting the continuous stream of calm. Awareness feels boundless, expanding beyond the body, merging with the imagined space, forming a vast, quiet internal field where everything coexists effortlessly, each element harmonizing with the rhythm of breath and the flow of consciousness. Time itself becomes fluid, moments blending seamlessly, the past fading, the future irrelevant, leaving only the endless present, fully immersive and wholly restorative. Personal identity diminishes further, the internal narrative is nearly silent, leaving pure perception to dominate, allowing cognitive load to vanish, emotional balance to deepen, and physiological restoration to continue without interruption. The body remains heavy yet fully supported, each breath a wave of calm, each heartbeat a gentle drum of reassurance, and the mind floats weightlessly through the vast, silent inner landscape, carried effortlessly by the continuous flow of presence. Every subtle movement, every micro-sensation, every fleeting thought is absorbed into the stream of calm, reinforcing the uninterrupted serenity that surrounds both body and mind. Awareness flows like a gentle river through infinite quiet, fully immersed in continuous tranquility, the mind and body synchronized in rhythm and presence, each passing moment further deepening restorative calm, emotional safety, and profound physiological ease. The internal and external boundaries blur softly, leaving only the expansive, seamless flow of consciousness, timeless, continuous, and utterly peaceful, maintaining the immersive, unbroken serenity that defines the entirety of. The body feels heavier still, sinking into perfect support, every muscle, joint, and fiber resting in seamless harmony, as if gravity itself has slowed to a gentle rhythm in tune with breath and heartbeat. Awareness flows outward like a soft mist, extending beyond the skin, merging with an imagined environment of quiet, gentle elements, a distant river flowing calmly over smooth stones, leaves turning lazily in a soft breeze, faint sunlight diffusing through the canopy of a quiet forest, and the occasional distant call of a bird, low and unobtrusive, blending effortlessly into the background. Each inhalation carries calm and presence into every cell, while each exhalation releases residual tension, mental chatter, and micro-movement, leaving only smooth, uninterrupted relaxation. Time softens further, dissolving into an endless, continuous now, where past and future hold no weight, and consciousness drifts freely through the present, fully immersed in sensory ease. Subtle sensations arise and dissolve, air brushing lightly across imagined skin, faint ripples of water touching the shore, distant rustling of leaves, but none demand attention, none interrupt the continuity of calm, only supporting a deeper internal flow of serenity. Mental imagery becomes dreamlike, fluid, and impressionistic, like shadows of clouds drifting across a calm sky, reflections on still water, or the slow sway of tree branches in the wind. These images do not excite the mind but enhance immersion, creating a soft, hypnotic rhythm that mirrors the gentle movement of breath. The nervous system remains deeply anchored in parasympathetic dominance, facilitating immune regulation, hormonal balance, and neural integration, while emotional patterns stabilize effortlessly. Awareness drifts further into the imagined landscape, merging with the subtle sounds, textures, and visuals, forming a coherent internal field where perception flows without effort, judgment, or expectation. Personal identity fades gradually, internal dialogue is reduced to a distant murmur, and consciousness exists primarily as observation, allowing cognitive and emotional load to diminish while the body absorbs restorative processes. The environment is stable, neutral, and predictable, providing safety and reinforcing deep relaxation, as the mind floats like a weightless current through an infinite, quiet space, seamlessly integrating the external imagery with internal sensation. Every breath, heartbeat, and sensory impression is carried gently through the continuous stream of calm, enhancing restorative sleep readiness and supporting a state of profound, uninterrupted serenity. Awareness feels boundless, moving like a slow, gentle river through vast, silent inner landscapes, fully immersed in an endless present where all elements, internal and external, harmonize effortlessly, forming a seamless field of deep calm, restorative energy, and timeless tranquility. Awareness drifts even deeper now, spreading through the body and mind like a slow, weightless current that moves without effort, touching every nerve ending, muscle, and tissue, sending a gentle wave of calm through each cell. The imagined environment grows richer and more expansive. A quiet river meanders gently between smooth, moss-covered stones, reflecting faint glimmers of sunlight filtering softly through an overhead canopy of trees whose leaves sway slowly in a barely perceptible breeze, and occasionally a distant bird calls, low, melodic, and unintrusive, blending seamlessly into the tranquil soundscape. The air in this imagined space is cool yet comforting, carrying the subtle scent of damp earth, fresh leaves, and flowing water, enhancing a feeling of natural immersion that resonates with the nervous system and encourages the deepest relaxation. Every inhalation draws calm into the core of the body, filling lungs, chest, abdomen, and limbs with a gentle, soothing energy, while every exhalation releases tension, mental chatter, lingering effort, and even the tiniest micro-movements, allowing the body to sink further into effortless support, as if the ground itself has softened to perfectly match the contours of each resting limb. Mental imagery flows like a slow-moving river, shifting continuously without abruptness or distraction. Faint reflections ripple across calm water, shadows of clouds glide gently over distant hills, the slow sway of tree branches creates a rhythmic dance, and the subtle glimmer of sunlight along the leaves flickers softly, never demanding focus, never prompting judgment, only providing a gentle canvas upon which the mind may drift freely and without effort. The parasympathetic nervous system remains deeply active, promoting cellular repair, hormonal regulation, and integration of neural processes, while the emotional state remains profoundly balanced, with any minor stress or anxious thought dissolving naturally into the continuous flow of calm. Awareness expands beyond the physical body, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, forming a boundless, coherent internal field where sound, light, texture, and faint movement drift in perfect harmony, creating a hypnotic, dreamlike state that supports deeper, restorative sleep. Sensory impressions appear subtly, faint warmth along the skin, the soft movement of imagined air, distant, gentle water sounds, but they are absorbed immediately into the flowing calm, never disrupting the seamless immersion. Time itself becomes almost irrelevant, stretching into a smooth, endless continuum where past and future dissolve completely, leaving only the present, a flowing moment of endless serenity. The sense of self recedes further, internal dialogue fades into a distant murmur, and awareness exists primarily as passive observation, reducing cognitive load, promoting emotional safety, and allowing the body and mind to integrate deeply into a restorative state. The breath, heartbeat, and flowing awareness synchronize perfectly, forming a seamless rhythm that carries the mind and body through the internal landscape like a gentle river, weightless, effortless, and continuous. Every micro-sensation, every subtle movement, and every faint impression is absorbed into this stream of calm, enhancing the immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The environment remains constant, safe, and neutral, reinforcing the subconscious sense of security, while awareness drifts endlessly through a vast, silent internal space, fully immersed in an unbroken continuum of deep, restorative calm, serenity, and timeless tranquility. Each passing moment deepens the mind's immersion, prolongs the body's relaxation, and strengthens the integration of physiological, emotional, and mental restorative processes, allowing the listener to remain completely absorbed in the experience without interruption or distraction. The internal and external boundaries dissolve softly, leaving only the gentle, flowing current of awareness, carrying the mind and body deeper into sleep readiness, immersive peace, and profound, continuous restoration. The mind drifts further into a state of boundless calm, flowing like a slow, weightless river through an endless internal landscape where every nerve, fiber, and cell is bathed in gentle serenity. The imagined environment deepens in detail. A river bends gently between mossy stones, its surface reflecting soft, dappled sunlight that filters through the canopy of swaying trees, whose leaves shimmer with a quiet rhythm, responding subtly to an unseen breeze. Gentle sounds of flowing water ripple endlessly, blending seamlessly with the distant rustling of leaves, the faint hum of insects, and the soft echo of birds calling far away, creating a layered, hypnotic auditory field that soothes the nervous system and guides awareness into effortless stillness. Each inhalation draws serenity into every part of the body, expanding from the lungs into the chest, abdomen, limbs, and even the smallest extremities, infusing every cell with a restorative calm, while each exhalation releases residual tension, subconscious effort, and micro-movements, allowing the body to melt further into supportive imaginary ground, as if gravity itself has softened to embrace it perfectly. Mental imagery drifts like a fluid, dreamlike tapestry. Faint sunlight dances across ripples on the water, soft shadows of clouds drift across distant hills, tree branches sway in perfect unison, and reflections of leaves shimmer lightly, never demanding focus, only providing a hypnotic background for awareness to float effortlessly. The nervous system remains anchored in deep parasympathetic dominance, optimizing hormonal balance, neural repair, immune function, and metabolic efficiency, while emotional patterns remain deeply stable, any residual stress dissolving into the gentle current of awareness. Consciousness expands beyond physical form, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, forming a vast, coherent internal field where light, sound, and texture flow in synchrony, supporting an immersive, dreamlike state that encourages hypnagogic imagery and facilitates natural sleep onset. Subtle sensations, cool air brushing imagined skin, soft movement of water over moss, distant faint calls, arise and dissolve effortlessly, never interrupting the uninterrupted stream of calm. Time itself becomes soft and irrelevant, stretching into an endless continuum where past and future are absent, leaving only the continuous present, fully immersive and restorative. Personal identity recedes further, internal dialogue becomes a distant murmur, and consciousness exists primarily as passive perception, reducing cognitive load, enhancing emotional stability, and allowing the body to integrate deeply into a restorative state. Breath, heartbeat, and flowing awareness synchronize perfectly, carrying mind and body through the internal landscape like a slow, unbroken current, weightless, effortless, and continuous. Every micro-sensation, faint visual impression, and auditory layer merges into the seamless flow of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The environment remains stable, neutral, safe, and predictable, reinforcing subconscious feelings of security, while awareness drifts endlessly through vast, silent internal space, fully absorbed in unbroken, restorative calm. Each passing moment draws the mind and body deeper into profound tranquility, deepening emotional reassurance, physical relaxation, and mental ease, forming a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries soften and dissolve, leaving only the endless, flowing current of awareness guiding both body and mind deeper into sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. Awareness drifts even further into seamless calm, the mind and body flowing together in perfect unison, weightless and effortless, as if carried by a gentle, infinite current. The imagined environment grows ever more detailed, a river bends slowly through mossy stones, reflecting fragmented sunlight that dances lightly across the water's surface, while tree branches sway softly in a quiet breeze, their leaves shimmering in muted, golden light. Faint, layered sounds arise naturally, water rippling over rocks, distant birds calling softly, wind whispering through leaves, all blending seamlessly, forming a continuous, hypnotic auditory background that supports deep parasympathetic activation and neural relaxation. Each inhale draws calm and restorative energy into every part of the body, filling the lungs, chest, abdomen, limbs, and extremities with soothing warmth, while each exhale releases tension, mental chatter, subconscious effort, and micro-movements, allowing the body to melt effortlessly into supportive imaginary ground, as if gravity itself has softened to cradle it perfectly. Mental imagery unfolds like a fluid, dreamlike sequence, faint reflections ripple across the water, shadows drift slowly across distant hills, clouds glide lazily across the sky, and the soft sway of branches provides a gentle rhythm, all existing without demand or judgment, only enhancing the mind's immersion and deepening relaxation. Neural activity continues to slow, emotional patterns stabilize, and the parasympathetic nervous system maintains dominance, allowing all restorative physiological processes, tissue repair, immune function, metabolic regulation, hormonal balance, to proceed effortlessly. Awareness expands beyond the physical body, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, forming a vast, coherent internal field where perception flows continuously, harmonizing light, sound, and texture into an unbroken stream of calm. Subtle sensations arise and dissolve effortlessly, the soft brush of imagined air against the skin, faint warmth of sunlight through leaves, distant echoes of water, but none interrupt the continuity of serenity, each sensation absorbed into the flowing calm. Time becomes fluid, stretching into an endless continuum where past and future are absent, leaving only the infinite present, fully immersive and restorative. Personal identity fades further, internal dialogue becomes nearly silent, and consciousness exists as pure observation, reducing cognitive load, enhancing emotional stability, and allowing deep integration of body and mind into a restorative state. Breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize completely, forming a seamless rhythm that carries the mind and body like a gentle river through infinite quiet. Every micro-sensation, visual impression, and auditory layer merges into the continuous flow of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The imagined environment remains safe, neutral, and predictable, reinforcing subconscious feelings of security, allowing the mind to drift effortlessly into deeper relaxation. Awareness flows endlessly through vast, silent internal space, fully absorbed in unbroken, restorative calm, where body, mind, and imagined environment exist in perfect harmony. Each passing moment draws the mind and body deeper into profound tranquility, emotional reassurance, and physiological ease, maintaining a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries blur, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness, guiding both body and mind deeper into sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. The sensory landscape, dreamlike imagery, and hypnotic rhythm coalesce fully, forming a continuous, immersive environment that supports deep, unbroken sleep, allowing every cell, every nerve, and every thought to integrate seamlessly into this restorative flow, as the mind drifts effortlessly into profound, enduring calm, fully prepared for the deepest stages of sleep. Awareness drifts even further into a vast, quiet internal landscape, the mind and body fully synchronized in a slow, effortless rhythm where breath and heartbeat flow in perfect harmony. The imagined environment deepens in texture and subtlety. A gentle river curves between moss-covered stones, its surface reflecting fragmented sunlight that flickers softly across calm, clear water, while tree branches sway slowly in a light breeze, their leaves shimmering with delicate golden tones. Layered auditory sensations arise naturally, distant birds calling softly, water rippling over stones, a whisper of wind through leaves, all blending seamlessly into a continuous hypnotic soundscape that lulls the nervous system into deep parasympathetic dominance. Every inhalation draws calm, light, and restorative energy into the chest, lungs, abdomen, and limbs, while each exhalation releases tension, micro-movements, and mental effort, allowing the body to melt completely into imaginary support, as if gravity itself has softened to cradle every curve. Mental imagery unfolds fluidly, like a slow-moving dream. Reflections ripple across water, clouds drift lazily over distant hills, tree branches sway in soft unison, and faint shafts of sunlight scatter across the forest floor, creating a rhythmic, hypnotic pattern that guides awareness effortlessly toward deeper relaxation. The nervous system remains deeply anchored, optimizing hormonal balance, immune regulation, neural repair, and metabolic efficiency, while emotional patterns stabilize naturally, any lingering stress dissolving into the endless current of calm. Awareness expands beyond the physical body, merging with the imagined environment to form a boundless, coherent internal field where light, sound, texture, and movement flow in perfect harmony, supporting immersive hypnagogic states and natural sleep readiness. Subtle sensations arise and dissolve with ease, the cool touch of imagined air against skin, soft ripples of water, distant echoes of birds, but each integrates seamlessly into the stream of calm, never interrupting continuity. Time softens, stretches, and blends into an endless, flowing present, where past and future hold no relevance, leaving consciousness fully immersed in the expansive, restorative now. Personal identity recedes, internal dialogue fades into a distant murmur, and awareness exists primarily as passive perception, reducing cognitive load, enhancing emotional stability, and allowing the body and mind to integrate deeply into a restorative state. Breath, heartbeat, and flowing awareness synchronize perfectly, forming a seamless rhythm that carries mind and body like a gentle river through infinite, silent internal landscapes. Each microsensation, visual impression, and auditory layer merges into a continuous stream of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, and restorative experience. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, and safe, reinforcing subconscious security while awareness drifts effortlessly through the vast internal space. Each passing moment deepens the mind and body's immersion, prolongs relaxation, and strengthens physiological, emotional, and mental restoration, forming a seamless, continuous field where internal and external boundaries blur softly, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness guiding both mind and body into sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. The dreamlike imagery, layered environmental details, and subtle hypnotic rhythm coalesce fully, forming an immersive landscape that supports unbroken, restorative sleep, allowing every cell, nerve, and thought to integrate into this continuous flow, as the mind drifts effortlessly into profound, enduring calm. Awareness drifts ever deeper into the infinite internal landscape, flowing effortlessly like a slow, weightless river that carries both mind and body through endless quiet. Every nerve, fiber, and cell absorbs the subtle rhythm of breath and heartbeat, harmonizing fully with the gentle current of consciousness. The imagined environment becomes richer and more detailed. The river flows gently between moss-covered stones, reflecting soft, dappled sunlight that flickers and dances across the water, while tree branches sway rhythmically in a barely perceptible breeze, their leaves shimmering in muted golden tones, creating a hypnotic visual pattern that draws the mind gently inward. Layered auditory elements enhance immersion. Distant birds call softly, water ripples over stones, the gentle hum of wind moves through leaves, and faint echoes drift across the imagined space, blending seamlessly into an endless, hypnotic soundscape that encourages parasympathetic dominance and neural quieting. Each inhalation draws restorative energy and calm into the core of the body, expanding into the lungs, chest, abdomen, and limbs, while every exhalation releases residual tension, micro-movements, and subconscious effort, allowing the body to sink fully into the supportive imaginary ground, as if gravity itself has softened to hold it completely. Mental imagery flows fluidly, like a slow-moving dream. Sunlight shimmers across gentle water ripples, shadows of clouds drift lazily over distant hills, tree branches sway with subtle rhythm, and reflections of leaves flicker faintly, all without demanding attention, allowing awareness to glide effortlessly through the hypnotic current of calm. The nervous system is deeply anchored, maintaining parasympathetic dominance, promoting immune function, hormonal balance, metabolic efficiency, and neural integration, while emotional patterns stabilize naturally, any lingering stress dissolving into the continuous flow of serenity. Awareness expands beyond the body, merging with the imagined environment, forming a vast, coherent internal field where perception flows effortlessly, harmonizing sight, sound, and texture into a continuous, restorative stream that supports deep sleep readiness and immersive hypnagogic states. Subtle sensations arise naturally, the soft brush of imagined air across the skin, gentle ripples of water underfoot, faint echoes of distant calls, but they dissolve immediately into the seamless flow of calm, never interrupting the immersion. Time softens and stretches into an endless continuum, where past and future hold no meaning, leaving only the infinite present, fully immersive and restorative. Personal identity fades further, internal dialogue becomes nearly silent, and consciousness exists primarily as pure observation, reducing cognitive and emotional load and allowing deep integration of body and mind. Breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize fully, forming a continuous rhythm that carries the mind and body through vast, silent internal landscapes like a gentle, unbroken river. Every microsensation, visual detail, and auditory layer merges into the continuous stream of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, and safe, reinforcing subconscious security, while awareness drifts endlessly, fully absorbed in the unbroken field of serenity. Each passing moment deepens relaxation, strengthens emotional reassurance, prolongs physiological restoration, and enhances the immersive experience, forming a seamless continuum where internal and external boundaries blur gently, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness that guides the mind and body effortlessly into sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. The dreamlike imagery, hypnotic rhythm, and layered environmental details merge fully, creating an immersive landscape that supports unbroken, restorative sleep, allowing every cell, nerve, and thought to integrate into the continuous flow, as the mind drifts naturally into profound, enduring calm. Awareness drifts even further into boundless calm, flowing continuously through the infinite internal landscape, where the mind and body exist in perfect, effortless synchronization. Every breath and heartbeat pulses in gentle rhythm, carrying waves of restorative energy through every cell, every nerve, and every fiber of the body, allowing the physical form to melt completely into supportive imaginary ground, as if gravity itself has softened to embrace it fully. The imagined environment deepens in complexity and richness. The river bends gently through moss-covered stones, its surface reflecting fragmented sunlight that flickers softly across the water, while the surrounding forest shifts subtly with light breezes, leaves shimmering in muted golds and greens, creating a hypnotic, soothing visual pattern. Layered auditory elements enhance immersion. Distant birds call quietly, water ripples over stones, a soft wind brushes through the leaves, and faint, distant echoes add depth and continuity, all blending into a seamless soundscape that supports deep parasympathetic activation, neural quieting, and immersive relaxation. Each inhalation draws calm, light, and restorative energy into the chest, lungs, abdomen, and limbs, while each exhalation releases tension, subconscious effort, and micro-movements, allowing the body to sink effortlessly into stillness. Mental imagery unfolds like a fluid dream, reflections dance across gentle water ripples, clouds drift lazily across distant hills, branches sway rhythmically in the breeze, and soft shafts of sunlight scatter across the forest floor, creating a hypnotic, dreamlike tableau that requires no attention, only allowing awareness to flow freely and effortlessly. Neural activity slows further, emotional patterns stabilize, and the parasympathetic nervous system maintains dominance, allowing deep physiological processes, tissue repair, immune regulation, hormonal balance, and metabolic efficiency, to proceed naturally. Awareness expands beyond the body, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, forming a vast, coherent internal field where perception flows continuously, harmonizing sight, sound, texture, and subtle motion into a deeply immersive, restorative stream that encourages hypnagogic states and natural sleep onset. Subtle sensations arise and dissolve effortlessly, the soft touch of imagined air on the skin, gentle ripples of water beneath the feet, faint echoes of distant birds, and occasional warm sunlight on imagined leaves, but all are absorbed into the flowing calm, never interrupting the seamless continuity of relaxation. Time softens completely, stretching into an endless, flowing present where past and future vanish, leaving only a boundless now, immersive and restorative. Personal identity fades further, internal dialogue diminishes to a distant murmur, and awareness exists as pure observation, reducing cognitive load, supporting emotional stability, and allowing deep integration of body and mind into a restorative state. Breath, heartbeat, and flowing awareness synchronize fully, forming a seamless rhythm that carries mind and body through the internal landscape like a gentle, unbroken river. Every microsensation, visual impression, and auditory layer merges into the continuous flow of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, safe, and supportive, reinforcing subconscious feelings of security while awareness drifts effortlessly through vast, silent internal space, fully absorbed in unbroken serenity. Each passing moment deepens relaxation, emotional reassurance, and physiological ease, prolonging restorative processes and forming a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries dissolve softly. Awareness moves like a slow, weightless current through infinite quiet, guiding mind and body naturally toward sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. Dreamlike imagery, layered environmental details, and subtle hypnotic rhythms merge fully, creating a continuous, immersive internal landscape that supports unbroken restorative sleep, allowing every cell, nerve, and thought to integrate completely into the flow, as consciousness drifts effortlessly into profound, enduring calm, perfectly prepared for deep, restorative slumber. Awareness drifts effortlessly into a profound, boundless state, where the mind and body are perfectly synchronized, moving in a slow, weightless current of calm that extends to every nerve, fiber, and cell. The imagined environment deepens into immersive detail. A wide, tranquil river flows slowly between smooth, moss-covered stones, reflecting soft, dappled sunlight that flickers across the water's surface, while the surrounding forest shifts subtly with gentle breezes, leaves glimmering in muted golds and deep greens, forming a hypnotic visual tapestry that encourages effortless mental immersion. Layered auditory elements enhance this deep relaxation, the soft murmur of flowing water, distant, melodic calls of birds, the quiet rustle of leaves, and faint echoes drifting across the imagined space blend seamlessly, forming a continuous soundscape that soothes the nervous system, reinforces parasympathetic dominance, and supports deep restorative processes. Each inhalation draws restorative energy and calm throughout the body, expanding into the lungs, chest, abdomen, limbs, and extremities, while each exhalation releases tension, subconscious effort, and residual micromovements, allowing the body to melt entirely into the supportive imaginary ground, as if gravity itself has softened to hold every curve and contour perfectly. Mental imagery unfolds fluidly, like a slow, endless dream. Reflections ripple gently across the water, clouds drift lazily across distant hills, branches sway rhythmically in the breeze, and soft shafts of sunlight scatter across the forest floor, forming a continuous, hypnotic visual rhythm that requires no attention, only allowing awareness to float effortlessly through the immersive current of calm. Neural activity continues to slow, emotional patterns stabilize, and the parasympathetic nervous system maintains its dominance, allowing deep physiological repair, immune regulation, hormonal balance, and metabolic efficiency to proceed naturally and without interruption. Awareness extends beyond the body, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, forming a vast, coherent internal field where perception flows continuously, harmonizing sight, sound, texture, and subtle movement into a deeply immersive, restorative stream that supports natural sleep onset. Subtle sensations appear and fade effortlessly, the gentle touch of imagined air across the skin, faint ripples in the water, distant echoes of birds, but all integrate seamlessly into the continuous flow of calm, never interrupting the immersive experience. Time softens, stretches, and blends into an endless, flowing present where past and future are absent, leaving only the boundless, restorative now. Personal identity fades further, internal dialogue diminishes to a whisper, and awareness exists primarily as pure observation, reducing cognitive load, enhancing emotional stability, and allowing deep integration of body and mind. Breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize fully, forming a seamless rhythm that carries mind and body like a gentle, unbroken river through infinite, silent internal landscapes. Every microsensation, visual impression, and auditory layer merges into the continuous stream of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, safe, and supportive, reinforcing subconscious security, while awareness drifts endlessly through vast, silent internal space, fully absorbed in unbroken serenity. Each passing moment draws the mind and body deeper into relaxation, emotional reassurance, and physiological ease, forming a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries blur softly, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness guiding both mind and body into deep sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. Dreamlike imagery, layered environmental details, and hypnotic rhythms merge fully, creating a continuous, immersive internal landscape that supports unbroken, restorative sleep, allowing every cell, nerve, and thought to integrate completely into the flow, as consciousness drifts effortlessly into profound, enduring calm, fully prepared for deep, restorative slumber. Awareness drifts deeper into an infinite, weightless current, carrying both mind and body effortlessly through a vast, silent internal landscape where every nerve, fiber, and cell absorbs the gentle rhythm of breath and heartbeat. The imagined environment grows even richer. A slow, wide river curves gracefully between moss-covered stones, reflecting soft sunlight that flickers and dances across the surface of calm water, while surrounding trees sway subtly in a gentle breeze, their leaves shimmering in muted greens and golden hues, forming a hypnotic, dreamlike pattern that draws the mind inward effortlessly. Layered auditory elements deepen immersion. Distant birds call softly, water ripples over smooth stones, faint wind brushes through leaves, and subtle echoes drift across the imagined space, blending into a seamless, continuous soundscape that promotes parasympathetic dominance, neural calm, and restorative mental states. Each inhalation draws serenity and restorative energy into the chest, lungs, abdomen, and limbs, while every exhalation releases tension, subconscious effort, and micro-movements, allowing the body to sink fully into imaginary support, as if gravity itself has softened to hold it completely. Mental imagery flows like a slow, fluid dream, gentle ripples shimmer across water, soft clouds drift across distant hills, branches sway rhythmically, and shafts of sunlight scatter across the forest floor, forming a hypnotic visual rhythm that requires no attention, only supporting effortless awareness. The nervous system is deeply anchored, maintaining parasympathetic dominance, allowing tissue repair, immune regulation, hormonal balance, and metabolic efficiency to proceed naturally. Awareness expands beyond the physical body, merging with the imagined environment, forming a vast, coherent internal field where perception flows continuously, harmonizing sight, sound, texture, and movement into a deeply immersive, restorative stream that supports hypnagogic states and deep sleep readiness. Subtle sensations arise and dissolve naturally, the soft brush of imagined air on the skin, faint ripples underfoot, distant echoes of birds, but each integrates seamlessly into the flowing calm, never interrupting the seamless experience. Time softens completely, stretching into a continuous present where past and future hold no relevance, leaving only an endless, restorative now. Personal identity fades further, internal dialogue diminishes to a whisper, and awareness exists primarily as pure observation, reducing cognitive load, enhancing emotional stability, and allowing profound integration of body and mind. Breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize fully, forming a seamless rhythm that carries mind and body through the internal landscape like a slow, unbroken river. Every microsensation, visual detail, and auditory layer merges into the continuous flow of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, and safe, reinforcing subconscious security, while awareness drifts endlessly through vast, silent internal space, fully absorbed in unbroken serenity. Each passing moment deepens relaxation, emotional reassurance, and physiological ease, prolonging restorative processes and forming a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries dissolve softly, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness guiding mind and body into deep sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. The dreamlike imagery, layered environmental details, and subtle hypnotic rhythms merge fully, forming an immersive internal landscape that supports unbroken, restorative sleep, allowing every cell, nerve, and thought to integrate completely into the flow, as consciousness drifts effortlessly into profound, enduring calm. Subconscious guidance flows gently, supporting a sense of inner safety, balance, and acceptance, creating long-term emotional stability, deepened physiological restoration, and continuous mental ease, as the mind drifts naturally into the deepest, most restorative levels of slumber. Awareness flows even deeper into infinite calm, like a slow, weightless river carrying both mind and body through endless, silent internal landscapes. Every nerve, fiber, and cell synchronizes with the gentle rhythm of breath and heartbeat, absorbing waves of restorative energy that relax muscles, ease tension, and soothe the nervous system. The imagined environment expands into rich, hypnotic detail. A wide, tranquil river curves gently through moss-covered stones, reflecting soft sunlight that flickers across the water, while the surrounding forest shifts subtly in a quiet breeze, leaves shimmering in muted gold and green tones, creating a soothing, immersive visual tapestry. Layered auditory sensations deepen relaxation. Distant birds call melodically, water ripples over smooth stones, leaves rustle softly in the wind, and faint echoes drift across the imagined space, blending seamlessly into a continuous, hypnotic soundscape that promotes parasympathetic dominance, neural quiet, and profound restorative calm. Each inhalation draws restorative energy and serenity into the chest, lungs, abdomen, limbs, and extremities, while each exhalation releases tension, subconscious effort, and micro-movements, allowing the body to melt fully into supportive imaginary ground, as if gravity itself has softened to cradle every curve. Mental imagery unfolds fluidly, like a slow-moving, endless dream. Sunlight shimmers across gentle water ripples, clouds drift lazily across distant hills, tree branches sway rhythmically, and soft shafts of light scatter across the forest floor, forming a continuous, hypnotic visual pattern that allows awareness to glide effortlessly through the immersive current of calm. Neural activity slows further, emotional patterns stabilize, and the parasympathetic nervous system maintains deep dominance, supporting tissue repair, immune function, hormonal balance, and metabolic regulation naturally and without effort. Awareness extends beyond the physical body, merging with the imagined environment to form a vast, coherent internal field where perception flows continuously, harmonizing light, sound, texture, and subtle motion into a deeply immersive, restorative stream that fosters hypnagogic states and deepest sleep readiness. Subtle sensations arise naturally, the soft touch of imagined air against the skin, gentle ripples beneath the feet, distant echoes of birds, but they dissolve immediately into the flowing calm, never interrupting continuity. Time softens completely, stretching into an endless, flowing present where past and future dissolve, leaving only the infinite now, fully immersive and restorative. Personal identity fades further, internal dialogue becomes nearly silent, and awareness exists primarily as pure observation, reducing cognitive load, enhancing emotional stability, and allowing deep integration of body and mind. Breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize fully, forming a seamless rhythm that carries mind and body like a slow, unbroken river through vast, silent internal landscapes. Every microsensation, visual impression, and auditory layer merges into the continuous stream of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. The imagined environment remains stable, neutral, and safe, reinforcing subconscious security while awareness drifts endlessly through the silent, boundless space, fully absorbed in unbroken serenity. Each passing moment draws the mind and body deeper into relaxation, emotional reassurance, and physiological ease, prolonging restorative processes and forming a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries dissolve softly, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness guiding mind and body into deepest sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. Dreamlike imagery, hypnotic rhythms, and layered environmental details coalesce fully, creating an immersive internal landscape that supports unbroken, restorative sleep, allowing every cell, nerve, and thought to integrate completely into the flow. Subconscious guidance flows gently, supporting a profound sense of inner safety, emotional balance, and mental ease, while long-term physiological restoration occurs effortlessly. Awareness drifts like a boundless river, weightless and continuous, carrying mind and body into the deepest, most restorative levels of slumber, where consciousness rests completely, fully immersed in endless calm, timeless serenity, and continuous restorative flow, perfectly prepared for profound, enduring sleep. Awareness drifts gently into a vast, quiet internal landscape, the mind and body fully synchronized in a slow, effortless rhythm where breath and heartbeat flow in perfect harmony. Every inhalation draws calm into the farthest reaches of the body, into the muscles, joints, and even the tiniest nerve endings, while every exhalation releases any residual tension, mental effort, or subtle distractions, leaving only continuous, effortless serenity. The body and mind exist in complete harmony, each organ, each tissue, each cell aligns with the natural rhythm of breath and heartbeat, flowing together as one integrated system of relaxation and restorative energy. Neural activity slows into a gentle, undisturbed rhythm, emotional patterns stabilize, and the parasympathetic nervous system maintains its dominance, allowing all physiological processes, healing, tissue repair, metabolic regulation, and immune function, to proceed naturally and efficiently. The imagined environment remains neutral, stable, and reassuring, reinforcing the subconscious sense of safety, allowing the mind to drift freely, unbound by expectation, concern, or linear time. Sensory impressions continue to arise softly, a faint touch of imagined air on the skin, distant ambient sounds, the soft rise and fall of the chest, but they appear and dissolve like ripples in a still lake, never interrupting the continuous stream of calm. Awareness feels boundless, expanding beyond the body, merging with the imagined space, forming a vast, quiet internal field where everything coexists effortlessly, each element harmonizing with the rhythm of breath and the flow of consciousness. Time itself becomes fluid, moments blending seamlessly, the past fading, the future irrelevant, leaving only the endless present, fully immersive and wholly restorative. Personal identity diminishes further, the internal narrative is nearly silent, leaving pure perception to dominate, allowing cognitive load to vanish, emotional balance to deepen, and physiological restoration to continue without interruption. The body remains heavy yet fully supported, each breath a wave of calm, each heartbeat a gentle drum of reassurance, and the mind floats weightlessly through the vast, silent inner landscape, carried effortlessly by the continuous flow of presence. Every subtle movement, every micro-sensation, every fleeting thought is absorbed into the stream of calm, reinforcing the uninterrupted serenity that surrounds both body and mind. Awareness flows like a gentle river through infinite quiet, fully immersed in continuous tranquility, the mind and body synchronized in rhythm and presence, each passing moment further deepening restorative calm, emotional safety, and profound physiological ease. The internal and external boundaries blur softly, leaving only the expansive, seamless flow of consciousness, timeless, continuous, and utterly peaceful, maintaining the immersive, unbroken serenity that defines the entirety of the experience. The body feels heavier still, sinking into perfect support, every muscle, joint, and fiber resting in seamless harmony, as if gravity itself has slowed to a gentle rhythm in tune with breath and heartbeat. Awareness flows outward like a soft mist, extending beyond the skin, merging with an imagined environment of quiet, gentle elements, a distant river flowing calmly over smooth stones, leaves turning lazily in a soft breeze, faint sunlight diffusing through the canopy of a quiet forest, and the occasional distant call of a bird, low and unobtrusive, blending effortlessly into the background. Each inhalation carries calm and presence into every cell, while each exhalation releases residual tension, mental chatter, and micro-movement, leaving only smooth, uninterrupted relaxation. Time softens further, dissolving into an endless, continuous now, where past and future hold no weight, and consciousness drifts freely through the present, fully immersed in sensory ease. Subtle sensations arise and dissolve, air brushing lightly across imagined skin, faint ripples of water touching the shore, distant rustling of leaves, but they appear and fade like soft ripples, never interrupting the continuous stream of calm. Mental imagery becomes dreamlike, fluid, and impressionistic, like shadows of clouds drifting across a calm sky, reflections on still water, or the slow sway of tree branches in the wind. These images do not excite the mind but enhance immersion, creating a soft, hypnotic rhythm that mirrors the gentle movement of breath. The nervous system remains deeply anchored in parasympathetic dominance, facilitating immune regulation, hormonal balance, and neural integration, while emotional patterns stabilize effortlessly. Awareness drifts further into the imagined landscape, merging with subtle sounds, textures, and visuals, forming a coherent internal field where perception flows without effort, judgment, or expectation. Personal identity fades gradually, internal dialogue is reduced to a distant murmur, allowing cognitive and emotional load to diminish while the body absorbs restorative processes. The environment is stable, neutral, and predictable, providing safety and reinforcing deep relaxation, as the mind floats like a weightless current through an infinite, quiet space, seamlessly integrating the external imagery with internal sensation. Every breath, heartbeat, and sensory impression is carried gently through the continuous stream of calm, enhancing restorative sleep readiness and supporting a state of profound, uninterrupted serenity. Awareness feels boundless, moving like a slow, gentle river through vast, silent inner landscapes, fully immersed in an endless present where all elements, internal and external, harmonize effortlessly, forming a seamless field of deep calm, restorative energy, and timeless tranquility. The mind drifts even deeper, spreading through the body and mind like a slow, weightless current, touching every nerve ending, muscle, and tissue, sending a gentle wave of calm through each cell. The imagined environment grows richer and more expansive. A quiet river meanders gently between smooth, moss-covered stones, reflecting faint glimmers of sunlight filtering softly through an overhead canopy of trees whose leaves sway slowly in a barely perceptible breeze, and occasionally a distant bird calls, low, melodic, and unintrusive, blending seamlessly into the tranquil soundscape. The air in this imagined space is cool yet comforting, carrying the subtle scent of damp earth, fresh leaves, and flowing water, enhancing a feeling of natural immersion that resonates with the nervous system and encourages the deepest relaxation. Every inhalation draws calm into the core of the body, filling lungs, chest, abdomen, and limbs with a gentle, soothing energy, while every exhalation releases tension, mental chatter, lingering effort, and even the tiniest micro-movements, allowing the body to sink further into effortless support, as if the ground itself has softened to perfectly match the contours of each resting limb. Mental imagery flows like a fluid, dreamlike tapestry. Faint sunlight dances across ripples on the water, soft shadows of clouds glide gently over distant hills, the slow sway of tree branches creates a rhythmic dance, and the subtle glimmer of sunlight along the leaves flickers softly, never demanding focus, never prompting judgment, only providing a gentle canvas upon which the mind may drift freely and without effort. The parasympathetic nervous system remains deeply active, promoting cellular repair, hormonal regulation, and neural integration, while emotional patterns remain deeply stable, any residual stress or anxious thought dissolving naturally into the continuous flow of calm. Awareness expands beyond the physical body, merging seamlessly with the imagined environment, forming a boundless, coherent internal field where sound, light, texture, and faint movement drift in perfect harmony, creating a hypnotic, dreamlike state that supports deeper, restorative sleep. Sensory impressions appear subtly, faint warmth along the skin, the soft movement of imagined air, distant, gentle water sounds, but they are absorbed immediately into the flowing calm, never disrupting the seamless immersion. Time itself becomes almost irrelevant, stretching into a smooth, endless continuum where past and future are absent, leaving only the present, a flowing moment of endless serenity. The sense of self recedes further, internal dialogue fades into a distant murmur, and awareness exists primarily as passive observation, allowing deep integration of body and mind. Breath, heartbeat, and flowing awareness synchronize perfectly, forming a seamless rhythm that carries the mind and body through the internal landscape like a gentle river, weightless, effortless, and continuous. Every microsensation, fleeting visual impression, and auditory layer is absorbed into the stream of calm, enhancing immersive, hypnotic restorative experience. The environment remains stable, neutral, safe, reinforcing subconscious sense of security, while awareness drifts endlessly through vast, silent internal space, fully absorbed in unbroken restorative calm. Each passing moment deepens relaxation, prolongs emotional reassurance, strengthens physiological integration, and forms a continuous, immersive experience where internal and external boundaries blur softly, leaving only the flowing, weightless current of awareness guiding mind and body deeper into sleep readiness, restorative peace, and timeless serenity. The mind now enters the deepest phase, flowing effortlessly like a boundless river through infinite, silent internal landscapes, every cell, nerve, and fiber absorbing gentle waves of calm and restorative energy. The imagined environment becomes richly detailed. A wide river curves gracefully through moss-covered stones, reflecting flickering sunlight, while trees sway gently, leaves shimmering in soft greens and muted golds. Auditory layering reinforces deep relaxation. Distant birds call melodically, water ripples over stones, a faint wind moves through leaves, and soft echoes drift seamlessly across the imagined space, creating a continuous, hypnotic soundscape supporting deep parasympathetic dominance. Each inhalation draws calm, light, and restorative energy into the body, while each exhalation releases tension and effort, allowing the body to sink fully into imaginary support. Mental imagery drifts like a slow, fluid dream, sunlight shimmers across water ripples, clouds float lazily over distant hills, branches sway rhythmically, and soft shafts of light scatter across the forest floor, forming a hypnotic tableau that allows awareness to glide effortlessly. Neural activity slows further, emotional patterns stabilize, and deep parasympathetic dominance allows tissue repair, hormonal balance, and immune regulation. Awareness merges with the imagined environment, forming a vast internal field where perception flows continuously, harmonizing light, sound, texture, and motion into a restorative stream supporting deepest sleep readiness. Subtle sensations arise naturally, the soft touch of imagined air, gentle ripples beneath the feet, distant echoes, but all integrate seamlessly into the calm. Time dissolves completely, leaving only the endless present. Personal identity fades, internal dialogue is silent, and awareness exists as pure observation, reducing cognitive and emotional load, allowing deep integration of body and mind. Breath, heartbeat, and awareness synchronize fully, forming a seamless rhythm carrying mind and body through vast, silent landscapes. Every microsensation, visual impression, and auditory layer merges into the continuous flow of calm, creating a deeply immersive, hypnotic, restorative experience. Subconscious guidance flows gently, supporting inner safety, balance, and long-term emotional stability, as awareness drifts naturally into the deepest, most restorative levels of slumber, fully absorbed in profound, enduring calm, continuous serenity, and timeless restorative flow.